That's brilliant. I don't know how to back up that intro, Victoria. I don't know. How do I follow that up? I'm sitting in for Adam today, and I don't know how to follow up that intro.
Oh, man. Thank you, Rusty, for putting that together. It is hump day.
It is hump day. Okay. You made it, folks. Got all the way to hump day. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vodenecker producing the show, as always. By the way, coming up here in 10 minutes, Eric Tulsky, general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, is going to join us live right here on the show. Right. So make sure you stay locked in, folks. Let's go and get this thing started. Let's go and get it underway. Let's go and start with actually what's going to happen tonight. I wish it was the Carolina Hurricanes playing, obviously, tonight. But Game 1, Stanley Cup Final.
I know.
Stanley Cup Final, the Florida Panthers on the road at the Edmonton Oilers. Game 1 tonight. I'm going to give a quick series prediction in this one, Victoria.
Okay.
Give me the Oilers in 6.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Oilers in 6 on this one, and here's the reason why. We have seen in recent years, for example, just last year, the Florida Panthers, after missing out on a Stanley Cup, come back and win it the next year. I think this is the ultimate gotta have it right now if you're the Edmonton Oilers. Florida Panthers, you've been to 3 finals in a row. You have a cup. You're good.
Yeah.
I think Edmonton takes this series. That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I think Edmonton does take it in 6. It would not shock me if it goes to 7 again. Personally, I want 7 because Game 7's awesome. I mean,
more
last
hockey.
Year's exactly more hockey. Are you going to complain about more hockey?
Yep.
More playoff hockey?
Never.
I'm not. But we saw last year's series get to a Game 7 after the Edmonton Oilers fell down 3-0 in this series. I actually did hear this from another podcast. My good friends Dan and Chris from the Empty Netters podcast brought out this stat. 8 times in the postseason has a team lost their first 2 games of the playoffs.
Oh.
So, like in the first round, lost their first 2 games.
Yeah.
And made it to a cup final. It's happened 7 times previously. Those other 7 teams won the Stanley Cup.
There you go.
So we're talking, for example, the Red Wings in 2002 won the Stanley Cup after losing their first 2 games in the playoffs. The Carolina Hurricanes, when they won the Cup in 06, lost their first 2 games in the first round in 06. We're also going to go back to like the Penguins in like 92, and then there was Montreal in 93, and even some recent years like the LA Kings. Teams have done it before. 7 times it's happened. Yeah. 7 Cup champions. Know who lost their first 2 games in the postseason this year? The Edmonton Oilers.
They did.
Now you're in the Stanley Cup Final. Keep the streak alive, Edmonton. That's all I'm going to say.
I know.
Keep
and
the streak alive.
I've mentioned this with different hosts on the show, but I don't know if you're aware of this. The Oilers actually used video from Game 7 of last season as like momentum this year to help them, remind them of the suck, like how bad it was. Like, don't let this happen again.
It's Wednesday, Victoria. Easy there. So that is what we're looking at hopefully tonight. I'm going to sit back and just enjoy it. Now, we're going to talk to, again, Eric Tulsky here in about 6 minutes, the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, and kind of what to expect, how this team's going to be built, because a lot of people point at, myself in particular, look at the way the Florida Panthers play. It's not that dissimilar to what the Carolina Hurricanes do. It really isn't. There's some different intricacies of their system that are different than Carolina's. Everyone has their own little flavor of stuff, but the base core of it, it's similar. It's the same.
Don't
it's not
give them
exact,
an inch.
but
They'll
it's
take
the
a
same.
mile. Yeah.
All right. Eric Tulsky's coming up here in 6 minutes, but let's go ahead and switch focus over to one of the other pro teams that we have here in the state of North Carolina. The Carolina Panthers. OTAs continue to take place. Panthers were out on the practice field yesterday. How does the first-round pick look? Teneroa McMillan, 8th overall pick for the team this past year, the wide receiver out of Arizona. Dave Canales, the head coach, spoke after practice yesterday, talking about T-Mac learning the offense.
He's really taken to the coaching. First and foremost, the goal is to get him comfortable with the system, the different types of plays, different formations. We're starting to make it more challenging in terms of moving him around in different spots. He's handling it great. That gives him his best opportunity to play fast. I can tell when a guy's not comfortable because they look a little methodical out there, and so to see him be able to play fast, he looks pretty comfortable, but I know he'll probably be the first one to come up here and say, I don't feel like I have everything totally down pat, and that's the goal, is to get him to where he's completely comfortable.
It takes time. He's a rookie. He just got here. He was drafted, 6 weeks ago? Not even 5 weeks ago?
Right.
So, Dave Canales, what has impressed him so far about McMillan?
I think it's just his consistent ability to win at the top of the route. He uses his hands well. He's got great body control for having that kind of frame and size. A lot of times guys do struggle, with people in their space. And for a 6'4" guy to be able to control his body, and then he comes back to the ball. So he's such a friendly target because he attacks it. Whenever it's thrown to him, you'll see him come back towards the ball versus just receiving it, if you will. So those are some of the things that I'm excited about, just continuing to see from him.
There's a lot to be excited about his potential. Again, the frame, the ability, his catching ability, everything that you heard Dave Canales just talk about. It's got to excite you to help a still young quarterback like Bryce Young, third year in the NFL. That's where we are. If you actually take a look at the last 4 drafts previous to 2025, so you're talking about 2021, 22, 23, 24, those 4 drafts, there are 8 wide receivers selected in the top 10. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith in the top 10 in 2021. Drake London, Garrett Wilson in 2022. No top 10 wide receivers drafted in 2023, but 3 wide receivers in 2024. Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze in 2024. Those were all top 10 picks at wide receiver in the respective drafts. So if you actually take a look at, I did the numbers from their rookie season, just their rookie year. Receptions, yards, touchdowns. If you take all those 8 players I just mentioned, just their rookie season, average number of receptions, 78.6. Pretty good. Average number of yards, 1,022. Average number of touchdowns, 6. So that's what we're looking at. Between those 8 players, 78 catches, 1,022 yards, 6 touchdowns. Now, there's always the extreme end of things, where you have Jamar Chase with 1,455 receiving yards, and there's Roma Dunze, 734. So again, a wide range, but we're looking at averages. 4 of those guys went over 1,000 yards. 4 of those guys went over 80 catches. 4 of those guys also had 6+ touchdowns. So that's, again, what we're looking at possibly being for Tetairoa McMillan. Victoria, if Tetairoa McMillan this season puts up 78 catches for 1,022 yards and 6 touchdowns, you're taking that 10 times out of 10, right?
Oh, yeah, all day.
If you were to tell us, hey, beginning of the season, that's what he's going to put up, you go, all right, I'll take it.
I'm good.
I'll take it. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Joining us now here on the Adam Gold Show, it is the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, Eric Tulsky, joining us. Eric, thanks so much for your time. Really do appreciate this. I know a lot of players are obviously into the offseason. They're trying to look to maybe take a vacation, take a little break, rest and relax a little bit. But this time for you, this is where things actually ramp up for you. How busy have things been already for you, even before the offseason started?
Yeah, this is the busiest time of year for me for sure. We've got drafts coming up and free agency and signing our own players to extensions. It's all busy right now. I'll get to sleep in August maybe, but until then, a lot to do.
And there's definitely is a lot to do. And you actually have some free agents of your own possibly coming up as well. How have negotiations been? And when do those conversations actually start taking place with players that you know are going to be unrestricted free agents? Is it something that you wait till after the season? Do those take place at any point during the year? How does that process work for you?
Yeah, so for our own players, we're talking now to players who will be free agents next summer. We want to get ahead of it whenever we can. Sometimes it makes sense for both sides to play it out and see where things go. And, when that happens, we continue to check in throughout the year, see if there's anything to be done. Sometimes it gets done during the year. We saw some of them happen actually as we were getting into the start of the playoffs. And then when games finish, we circle back again and start trying to hammer things out before we hit the July 1st deadline.
Eric Tulsky, general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. I asked you this yesterday during your exit interview with you and Rob Brindamore about finding not just the right players but the right people that fit into an organization. We all can look at counting stats. We all can look at numbers about what a player can bring on the ice. But what is the process for you in terms of figuring out who the who the person is and making sure that they are a person that fits well into the locker room, has the mentality that you want that fits into the locker room?
Yeah, so a lot of that comes down to contacts. We're talking to players who have played for us, who know the players because they played with them before. We're talking to coaches who have coached the player before or who are friends with people who have coached the player before. We're talking to, scouts who may have worked with the person when they were with their junior team. Anyone who knows the player, we're trying to talk to them and get their sense of what the player is like, not as a player, but as a person. And then we're working with our scouts and coaches to evaluate what they're like as a player. And we want to make sure both of those things fit.
How do you balance as well when you're looking at talent, when you're taking a look at a player that puts up great numbers in the regular season, but maybe the postseason numbers might not be there, or there's also the inverse of that? I know we talked about before you joined the show about game 1 tonight of the Stanley Cup final with the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, and I look at a player like Sam Bennett, who, if you look at his regular season numbers, has only hit 50 points once in his career. But you look at what he does in the postseason, he puts up numbers in April, May, and June. How do you balance when it comes to approaching players, not just finding players who can put up numbers in the regular season, but players that might have the mentality for the playoffs that I'm going to put my stick on the ice, get to the blue paint on the offensive end. I know I'm going to get cross-checked and elbowed, but I'm going to go to those areas no matter what. I'm going to pay that price to try and get things done. How do you balance out the regular season production, but also that mentality that's going to pay off in May?
Yeah, honestly, our team plays a playoff style all year long. We play an aggressive, heavy game, and we expect people to grind along the walls and win those battles and compete and apply pressure. And so if someone's going to be a fit for our team, they're going to be a fit regular season and postseason just because of the way we play. So we're looking for people who are comfortable in that kind of high-pressure game and, giving their full intensity and going against someone who's giving their full intensity. And when we find that, we think that'll fit year-round for us.
A player that really has fit, by the way, it's Eric Tulsky, Carolina Hurricanes general manager, joining us. A player who really fits that mentality and it really showed during the playoffs is Logan Stankoven, a player that you got at the trade deadline from the Dallas Stars. He's going into the final year of his entry-level contract. Have you had conversations with him and his agent about an extension, or are you waiting till restricted free agency to see if you're going to do a bridge deal? Where's the process at with a player like him?
Yeah, so we have just started to have a conversation. He's not even eligible to sign an extension until July 1st. So we have a little bit of time, where right now we're feeling each other out and trying to get a read on whether this is something that we're likely to get traction on this summer. But yes, we've started to have that conversation, and we'll continue working on it throughout the summer and hopefully get something done this year. And if not, it'll get done next year.
Did he perform up to expectations or even exceed them?
Yeah, he was great for us, right? I don't know what more you could ask of him. He's a rookie who's coming into a new team, and from day one just stepped in and fit and did everything we asked and did it well.
You have a couple other rookies that are going to be going into their final year of their entry-level contracts. Alexander Nikishin being one of them. It's amazing that he's considered a rookie, even though with all the years of professional experience with the KHL, but also Jackson Blake as well going into a final year of an entry-level contract. Are you looking to possibly have extensions with these guys come July 1 when they're eligible to sign, or are you going to wait and see how everything goes with free agency before you decide to move, because you do have that cost control with those guys over the next few years?
Yep. So, realistically, would be happy to have them all done on July 1st and not have to think twice about it. Right now, I think when they're a year away from their contract expiring, there isn't quite the time pressure to get it done on July 1st. And so the agents are busy with people whose contracts are expiring. And, so are we, frankly. And so I think right now the conversations sort of start, but the focus will really shift to them a week or 2 or 3 into July when there starts to be a little more bandwidth to really dig into what we can do with these guys.
Eric, I'm curious how much the conversation between you and Rod takes place when it comes to re-signing players or trying to find players, again, that fit the personality of the team. How often are you guys having conversations about that in the off season, or even approaching possibly the trade deadline? How much dialogue is going on back and forth between not just you, but also Darren York with Tom Dundon, Rob Brindamore? How much dialogue is taking place with you all?
Yeah, I mean, we all talk all the time. It's, I live on the phone basically. So, we want to get the opinions of everyone and make sure we know where everyone stands and get as much information as we can before we make any decision. And that includes getting everybody involved. It involves making sure we understand not just what their opinion is, but why they have that opinion and what it's based on and how strongly they feel about it. And, really making sure we understand how everything fits together and how it'll work for us.
Eric Tulsky, Carolina Hurricanes general manager, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. If you look at Florida, the team that's gotten to the Stanley Cup final 3 straight years, if you look down the middle of the ice, what they're able to do with Alexander Barkov, Sam Bennett, Anton Lundell, the depth that they have down the middle of the ice. And Rob Brindamore spoke with Adam Gold earlier this week about needing more from that position as a whole. Obviously, you have Sebastian Aho. We all know what he can do. We also know what Jordan Stahl can do as well. How much of an emphasis are you putting on building the strength down the middle of the ice to match what the standard is right now, which is Florida?
Yeah, I mean, we want to get better across the board. And center is a very important position. D is a very important position. Our wingers are a strength for our team. I think anywhere where we find opportunity to improve, we're going to take it. Center is obviously a focus around the league right now, and something that if we see opportunities there, we will definitely jump on them. But we do not want to pigeonhole ourselves as being narrowly focused on one thing and missing other opportunities. We want to take every opportunity we can.
Final thing for you, Eric. Going into this offseason, we know everything that you have at your disposal in terms of cap space, draft capital, young prospects. If you want to make moves, everything is there. But how important is it for you all in the organization to be in a position where, look, we're one of the Final Four teams playing. You have a bunch of guys still under contract for next year, and you have all this cap space, but you still have room to grow in the future. How important is it to have that balance, but also that ability to make these moves in any way, shape, or form where you don't have to be 100% all in and the future is just completely mortgaged away, but you can still win now, but also still maybe win 2, 3, 4 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to build a team that can compete year after year. We don't want to just be a one-and-done team and put all our eggs in one basket. That being said, we've built a team that I think is set up to be very good for a long time. At this point, the focus is we want to continue doing it sustainably, but we want to do whatever we need to do to get farther than we have so far. And that means starting to make some pushes to really bring in players who can get us ahead of where we've put ourselves in a great spot, and we want to keep trying to get ahead.
That's Canes general manager Eric Tulsky. One thing I want to tell you before I let you go, Eric, I just want to say I thought you did a pretty phenomenal job this year with putting together this roster that got to a Final Four with everything you had to do with players leaving in free agency last year. I know you couldn't afford to keep everybody. It's just the business of what it is, but you still put together a roster that got to a conference final. So congrats to you and good luck this offseason. Really do appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. That's kind of you. I had a good time. Have fun.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Enjoy your summer, and what's going to be a busy summer for Eric Tulsky. Yeah. Again, that's Canes general manager Eric Tulsky joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Victoria, there's a lot that can take place this offseason for the Carolina Hurricanes. There's a lot at play. Whether they've got the 2 extra draft picks first round picks that they got from the Dallas Stars with the Mikko Rantanen trade, and you got a young guy like Logan Stankoven who fits well with this team. Victoria, this team is poised to make big moves and still be viable for years to come.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a position that every pro franchise wants to have right now.
I know. That's why I've said before, I'm really excited for next season.
Yeah.
Because, they've got the guys. Now they've got, they've worked some kinks out. They might get a new guy or two or three. But I like where they're going. I like the momentum.
I think there's definitely going to be a few new guys. I mean, it's just the nature of the business. It's what it is. We actually did see, the reason why I asked him about the center position is because every team in the NHL is looking for the same thing, right? I mean, hey, you know what? We need a number 2 or a top 2 center or even a number 1 center. Well, they're just not out there freely.
Right.
Like, you can find a bunch of wingers. I mean, look at the Canes roster right now. They got tons of wingers. They got plenty of them. I mean, Eric Tulsky even said himself, the strength of the team is on the wings. They do need to find a center. And we actually saw a potential free agent, Brock Nelson, who played pretty much his whole career with the New York Islanders, got traded to the Colorado Avalanche at the trade deadline. He re-signed with the Colorado Avalanche today. 3-year contract extension, $7.5 million a year. That's what he signed today. So guess what? There's a potential center off the market. And the Canes aren't the only team that have cap space and other assets to spend. Because people talk about, well, the salary cap jumped. Well, yeah, the salary cap jumped for everybody, not just Carolina. Everyone got that same bump. Now, Carolina is, again, poised to have a lot of cap space this upcoming year. And I think that's what fans, myself included, are expecting in this upcoming season. Look, you have the ability to make moves that can really bolster the team. And I heard Rob Brindamore said it in his exit interview. He said it with Adam Gold earlier this week. He appreciates the fact that the front office was willing to go after a Mikko Rantanen, was willing to go after a top guy.
Yeah, the guys were excited for that.
Yeah, as you should be, because that tells them, hey, guys, we're serious about winning this thing. And I think that's what every player wants to have. Hey, if I'm buying into this organization, I want you to be bought into us too.
Right.
And that's what the Mikko Rantanen trade showed. That's what the Jake Gensel move showed a couple of years ago. Hey, we're not afraid to go for it. I think that's what people are excited about this upcoming year. I think this upcoming year is a big one because everything is set for them to be successful right now.
Yeah.
While still, again, not sacrificing your future. There's some good young players not only on the team, but Bradley Nadeau, one of their first-round picks a couple years ago, put up 30 goals in the American Hockey League. First year as a pro, put up 30 goals in the AHL. Now, is he going to be an NHLer next year? We don't know. That's to be determined. We didn't know that Jackson Blake was going to be an NHLer full-time going into this past year, but he ended up becoming that. So there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of options. Do they want to go for another goaltender? They have the ability to do that, or they can sit comfortable with Freddie and Piotr if they want to do that. To be determined.
Yeah. I like how it's a good mixture of young guys and vets. So the vets can kind of teach the young guys their way, and it's not so, it's not like completely new like the San Jose Sharks or the Chicago Blackhawks. Those teams that they're really rebuilding. That's not it.
And then some of your core guys are in their prime or entering their prime. Like Sebastian Aho, these are his prime years. Andrei Svechnikov entering his prime years.
Yeah.
Jacob Slavin in his prime.
Oh, yeah.
Jalen Chatfield's 27 years old. He's entering in his prime years now. Same thing, Sean Walker, Shane Gostisbehere. These guys are in their prime years already. And then Alexander Nikishin, Logan Stankoven. You expect Jackson Blake, these guys all to elevate their play. It's an exciting time if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan. Big thanks to Eric Tulsky for joining us. If you missed any of that conversation, go check out 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show. So if you go on YouTube, just type 99.9 The Fan, search it, you'll find it. Subscribe right there. You can watch the entire show live, stream it there. You can leave thoughts and comments. Victoria's going to post videos and clips from the show. So guess what? You can leave comments and stuff there. You can always check things out on YouTube as well. Or check out the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, Victoria does an awesome job putting clips and stuff from the show up there as well. That way you don't miss a single thing. Including, I guess if you get to a Final Four, you can get fired.
It's crazy.
It's a weird time. Just goes to show you, anyone can get let go. And we saw that last night in the NBA. We'll discuss why teams and organizations are so fast to overreact and why it's a bad thing. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Champions are crowned in June. The NBA Finals.
The Oklahoma City Thunder going to the finals for the first time in 13 years.
The Stanley Cup Finals.
The Florida Panthers are on their way back to the Stanley Cup Final.
The U.S. Open.
And strokes the putt up the hill into the middle. 2 times a U.S. Open champion, Bryce and DeChambeau.
And the College World Series. Your home for championship action all month long. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Father's Day is this month, and maybe it's time to change up those cookout plans and do something a little more exciting. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and my dad and I are no strangers to taking the bike out when the weather is this beautiful, the nights are a little longer, and you're just ready to get out of the house. A lot of people probably have that same idea, which means more traffic and unfortunately more potential for an accident. I know I've personally been there before, but so have my friends at Law Tigers. If you're ever in an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, always remember to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they know the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you've made, and what it's like to go through an accident. Case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. In a quarterfinal match jam-packed with mistakes, double faulting, and plenty of missed shots, second-seeded Coco Gauff battled back to win 8 of the last 9 games and defeat fellow American 7th-seeded Madison Keys in 3 sets. Gauff and Keys combined for 101 unforced errors and just 40 winners in a little over 2 hours. It wasn't pretty, but Gauff says she'll take it.
I was just trying to be aggressive, and I had chances in the tiebreaker. I don't like the way I played that tiebreaker. I think, although it was close, I think I played too passive. So usually if you're playing too passive, in the end, the more aggressive player is going to win. So I knew in the second and the third that I had to try my best to be aggressive.
So Gauff advances to the semis, where she will play unseeded Frenchwoman Lois Boisson, who upset 6th-seeded Mira Andreeva in straight sets. With this tennis update, I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
Maybe Tom Thibodeau needed Lucky Cheez-Its, Victoria.
I know.
The New York Knicks coach that got fired.
They said to the left.
Yeah, that's where the exit is.
Tom.
Yeah, everything you own is in a box to the left. Now
Right.
get out of here.
Bye, Tom.
Okay, thanks for taking us all the way to the conference final for the
Uh-huh.
first time since 2000.
Right. We appreciate it not.
Bye. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. The reason why I bring up the whole Tom Thibodeau getting fired deal is because we see this often in sports, which I think, to me, we see it a lot in the NBA. We see it in the NHL quite a bit too. I feel like there's always this overreaction and overcorrection that's just, to me, it feels like there's too much emotion involved. Like, take a step back before you make any sort of drastic decisions. So I know, for example, when the Carolina Hurricanes were in the conference final against the Florida Panthers, we just talked to general manager Eric Tulsky. They lose a couple games. Fire Rod Brindamore. Fire Rod. Even though a lot of us at the beginning of the season said, wow, if they got to a conference final, wow. Especially the way the roster was constructed, everyone that they lost. So we saw yesterday, Tom Thibodeau got fired by the New York Knicks. And this is something that we see as a massive trend in the NBA. For example, you win Coach of the Year, you can expect to be gone very quickly. Very, very quickly. For example, Mike Budenholzer, back in 2018-2019, Coach of the Year, second time in his career, NBA Coach of the Year. Also won a championship just a couple years after that. Got fired in 2023. He was hired in 2018, was NBA Coach of the Year. In 2021, won a championship in 2021. 2 seasons later, gone. Fired. Nick Nurse, Toronto Raptors, wins a title. Fired. Gone after being Coach of the Year. Tom Thibodeau was 2021, was NBA Coach of the Year for the New York Knicks. He's gone. Monty Williams in 2022 was the NBA Coach of the Year for the Phoenix Suns, fired at the end of 2023. Mike Brown was Coach of the Year in 2023 for the Sacramento Kings. He got fired. I was like, well, wait a second. Like, to me, I'm like, hey, guys, let's pump brakes here a little bit. Pump brakes. This is something that I think that organizations, unfortunately, use coaches as the scapegoat.
Big time.
Like Mike Malone, Denver Nuggets head coach, got fired. They just won a title a couple of years ago. Got fired before the season even ended with like 4 games left. With 4 or 5 games left, he gets let go. I understand sometimes if a voice gets stale and you want to shake things up, but in my opinion, sports and teams are so quick to overreact. Especially when it comes to their coaches, are too quick to overreact. I mean, let's tie it back in here locally to the state of North Carolina, Victoria. How many head coaches has David Tepper had with the Carolina Panthers?
Way too many.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
No one's lasted more than 3 seasons. No one's even made it to 3 seasons as a head coach under David Tepper.
Yeah, and the one who came closest shouldn't have been there that long.
It was Matt Rule.
Yeah.
He lasted 5 games into year 3. That's it. So that's the reason why I bring this up is because I feel like teams are so quick to just go ahead and throw it all away. Not throw it all away, but all right, let's restart. Let's just go ahead and restart. Let's just scrap it all. Let's just start over. And I don't think that's a great way to operate. Again, I bring up Mike Budenholzer, Milwaukee Bucks coach. Wins a championship in 2021. Was Coach of the Year in 2019. They won a championship in 2021. The organization decides, hey, you know what? Let's go all in to get a superstar guy to pair with Giannis Antetokounmpo. So then the playoffs in 2023, Giannis is hurt, can't play. You've depleted your roster to try and go get Damian Lillard. And then all of a sudden you have no depth and everything that Mike Budenholzer was working with was gone. And then he gets fired. Like, well, no, wait. you all front office made all these moves. I didn't ask for them. You made these moves. Why am I getting canned? I didn't ask for this roster. And I think this is something that I feel and I hope when I look back at teams locally here in the state of North Carolina, the pro teams that we have, going with the Carolina Hurricanes, the continuity and the culture that's been built under Rob Brindamore is sustainable because we've seen it sustained. Now, can they get to the next step? That's where I put it on the front office, on Eric Tulsky, to go make the moves necessary to get the players necessary to help take him over the hump. This is where I look at the Carolina Panthers, Victoria. Continuity is such a big thing in my eyes. Look at just what they have on offense this year. Dave Canales, head coach and play caller, coming back. Brad Idzik being the OC, but we all know Dave Canales calls the plays. All 5 of your starting offensive linemen, including all the depth guys, are all back. All back. You bring back your top 3 wide receivers from last year, or top 4 that were left on the roster if you count David Moore. So those guys all come back. You're running back. Bring back 2 of your tight ends. Like, that's all continuity. That's all building and growing together. And I think that's also what Dan Morgan as the general manager is figuring out as well, that he sat back on the side and saw, because again, he was a protege under Scott Fitterer, how things went with Matt Rule, how things went with Frank Reich. He sat back and was there to see all of it. He's like, you know what? This ain't it. This is not it. So that model of consistency, that model of continuity, I think is so vital in sports. And it's not just pro. I mean, look at college sports as well. I mean, look at what Coach K did as a model of consistency with Duke basketball, right? I mean, look on the football side of things. Didn't go super far. I mean, did get to an ACC championship. Wake Forest under Dave Clawson for many years. Now, again, college sports, that landscape has changed, so it's kind of hard to make a comparison now to what it was even just 5 years ago. But I feel like we are so quick to just move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a societal thing, Victoria, but I definitely see it in sports all the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could be, everybody, we have attention spans of a gnat nowadays. But I am curious to see, like, next season when the Knicks have some new coach now, if they're not as successful as Tom was, are you going to remember, oh, maybe we should have kept Tom, or, some other, like, excuse? Like, that's the thing is, what do you think, like, what are your expectations now with not having him that took you as far as he did?
Taylor on our YouTube live chat points out how the Seattle Kraken have had 3 coaches in 5 years. In 5 years of existence.
Right.
I mean, actually, look at the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, how many coaches they've gone through.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. Now, granted, they have a cup to show for it, but again, where's your consistency in all these things? Are you just are you just going to instantly overreact to either what fans are saying, or you're going to instantly overreact to what, you might feel pressure from one person? Stick to your guns. If you have conviction on what you think works, stay with it. Buy into yourself. That's the biggest thing. Buy into yourself. Not the get-rich-quick schemes, right? Mm-hmm. Because guess what? Shortcuts are actually the longest route to take. Because shortcuts always set you back. Mm-hmm. Shortcuts set you back. Shortcuts, they set you back. And guess what? Now you're right back to square one. If you did it right the first time, or had conviction in what you were doing the first time, then you don't have to settle for shortcuts.
I mean, you could look at the Carolina Panthers. They were supposed to have a 7-year plan. Hashtag Jay-Z. Thanks, Matt Rule.
Hey,
And then, like, 2 years into it, they're like, never mind. Let's get rid of Bridgewater. Like, it's...
I would just like to point out that year 7 of Matt Rule's plan will be the 4th year of Bryce Young, 2026, which might be the year.
I hope so.
So maybe Matt Rule is right.
Yeah, I won't ever say that.
I won't ever. That was an odd statement.
Yeah, no, he hasn't been here though for the last 4. Like, he hasn't been here for those. So.
But that was all part of his master plan, Victoria.
Yeah, I guess
you just didn't see it.
He changed it. He kept changing that plan. So
you just didn't see it.
Barf is so bad.
I know. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. Victoria producing the show. Buy into yourself, folks. If you have a plan for what you want your future to look like, have a plan, buy into yourself. Don't try and do a get rich quick scheme. See, I can't even say it correctly because it's that bad.
Yeah.
Don't be like the Knicks. I mean, unless you just want a fresh young blood. I mean, Tom Thibodeau is 67. Maybe you want to have a newer approach to stuff. Okay, I get that. I understand that, but you just got to a conference final knocking on the door. And guess what? You beat the Celtics, too. I know Tatum got hurt in that series, but you beat the Celtics, too.
Yeah.
That's the team you had to take down, right?
I can't believe he took them somewhere they haven't been in 24, 25 years.
Since
but yet,
2000.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
Since 2000.
What are we
Once
doing?
this century.
Yeah. No, you're not good enough. See, the real problem is you can't fire owners.
Oh, gosh.
Sometimes that's really where the root of the issue is.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. We got one-timers coming up.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we are finally here. The NBA Finals. It's Magic versus Larry. Wait, no, okay, it's not Magic versus Larry. Doesn't matter. It's the finals, and you can find everything you need for the finals, including live betting, right there on the FanDuel app. It's the best app in the business. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late. And new customers, $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So pick something easy, win it, and cash in. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy. You're family.
With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
There will be tushes pushed in the NFL in 2025.
Pushing tushes.
There you go.
Happy Hump Day!
That's brilliant.
The Adam Gold Show.
Once again, I don't know how to follow that. I don't know how to follow that.
I want us to just run those all day. It's so funny.
I got nothing.
I have to text
nothing.
Adam, and if he's not listening, he might be on his day off. I don't know, but
No, Adam, he probably is.
I gotta text him and let him know he missed all the push talking. Push talking. Push tush talking. That's a tongue twister. Push tush talking.
Be careful who you text those things to.
I know.
People might take that out of context and go, I'm sorry,
Yeah, I
what?
know.
What did you just say?
Excuse you?
It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. That's Victoria Vonecker, the voice you just heard. She's producing the show as always. Victoria, it's that time of day. 12:45, 12:46 now.
Oh, I thought you were going to say push tush.
No, that's that. No,
That's
no,
the
it's
NFL. It's one-timers.
One-timers. What you got, me?
Okay, so there's all kinds of options with our one-timers for today. But since we had Eric Tulsky on earlier, we've got some Canes ones. Let's see. First up, so I had asked Tim this, and just since you're not Tim, let's get your opinion. What was your take with the Paul Maurice and the handshaking situation with Rod during that last game? What was your opinion of that?
I think it was pretty unfair of Maurice to do that in that moment. To me, I look at it, I understand what Paul Maurice was saying. Is, hey, look, the players were on the ice. They're the ones out there battling. Let's let them have their moment and all that kind of stuff. Rod actually did talk about it yesterday, about the handshake. And to paraphrase what he said, he's like, look, I understand what Paul was saying. They just won, so I gave him that respect in the moment. But he wants to shake the players of the hands of the players as well, like to show them that respect. Because the way I view it is, even though coaches might not be on the ice, they're in it too. Because you're the ones out on the bench calling out plays, or not calling out, set pieces, you're changing lines, you're making the adjustments, whatever it is that you got to do. That is something that coaches are part of just as much as the players are. The coaches are the ones in the locker rooms. To me, coaches shaking hands, it's an important thing in my eyes. That's how I view it. I used to coach college lacrosse. I did it for 9 years total. And after every game, it's a tradition of the sport of lacrosse. You shake hands after every game, no matter if it's preseason, regular season, postseason. Handshakes are a part of it. And I loved being able to go through and tell players like how much I respected what they did on the field during that game. That is something that was actually important to me as a coach. So I didn't like that Maurice did it. The whole thing was like, I want to make it about the players. And then sure enough, it turns into being about Paul Maurice.
Yeah.
It's
ugly. Well, moving on, but keeping up with the Canes talk.
Yeah.
Would you, if you were Eric Tulsky that we had on earlier, would you keep Brent Burns, a.k.a. Trent from Connecticut, for next season?
I know Daily Face-Off, which is a site that covers the NHL. They actually do a top 50 free agents, and they also do projected contracts. How long a term, how much per year. They project Brent Burns to get a 1-year, $5.3 million deal on the open market. I don't think Carolina brings him back at that number. There are a lot of different things to factor in on both sides. one, Rod loves Brent Burns. Rod trusts Brent Burns.
He does.
Brent Burns loves Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Brent Burns loves it in Raleigh. He's an older guy. He's 40, got kids. Like, there's a true family dynamic that a lot of people don't realize that factors into all of this. So, in my eyes, if he is back, it would have to be in a third pair role. Now, the question is he going to be playing with the right person? With Shane, if it's Shane Gostisbehere. I don't know if that's a great pair. Not that they're bad players. I don't know if it's a great pair. I could see it happening, possibly, and really the only defenseman you're losing is Dmitry Orlov. You know, Alexander Nikishin is sliding into that spot. In my eyes, I think they have to look somewhere else. I think I hate saying it because I like Brent too, and he's really and Rod even talked about how he's adapted his play even at this late in his career. If he's going to play on a team, in my eyes, he's a third pair defenseman. He can quarterback a power play. You're not going to ask him to do a whole lot 5-on-5. It's very physically demanding, not just hockey in general, but the way the Canes play in that system, especially on defensemen. I don't know how much longer he'll hold up playing in that system at top pair minutes alongside Jacob Slavin.
No.
If he's a third pair guy, I could possibly see it. But I don't know. That's a tough decision. It's a real tough decision.
Yeah.
But I don't see it.
Yeah.
I envy being on both sides of that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy choice.
Oh, no, not at all. Well, another player who people have been talking about a lot this past season was Kokoniemi. So what grade would you give KK for the season?
What grade would I give him?
As a whole.
This is harsh. I'm going to say a D.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. That's what I would give him. I think he's not afraid to play physical. He's not afraid to play a heavy game. If he was a fourth line center was paid like one, that's what he'd produced this season, fine. He's been given every opportunity to be one of the top two centers for the Carolina Hurricanes in terms of like the scoring line. Obviously, Aho's doing his thing. Jordan Staal is like your shutdown center, right? Jordan Staal matching up against another team's top line. Kokoniemi has been given every opportunity to be that quote-unquote number two center behind Sebastian Aho. He's played alongside, heck, to start the season, it was Svetch, KK, and Marty Necas. He's played alongside Svetch and some of these other top guys, Taylor Hall, plenty of times. He's had every chance to seize that opportunity, and it just hasn't been there. This is the second straight postseason with the Canes that he has not scored a goal. Second straight. He has scored in 54 playoff games for the Carolina Hurricanes, 3 goals.
Yeah.
And those came in 2 games. It was the 2023 postseason. It was the second round against the New Jersey Devils. He had a goal in game 1. He had 2 goals in game 2. That's all he has scored goal-wise for the Carolina Hurricanes in the postseason. He's been here for 4 years. He's been given every opportunity. Paid $4.82 million a year.
A lot of opportunities.
Is plenty of opportunities and chances. It's on him to take advantage of that. So, no, I would say the grade would be a D.
Yeah. Let's see. So, sticking with hockey, tonight we have game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Of course, it's the Panthers and Edmonton Oilers. They're in Edmonton tonight. So, I know you made your Edmonton pick, but how do you see tonight going?
I think fireworks tonight. I think this game actually might be a little bit more high scoring than people think. I know Florida's going to want to try and establish their bulliness and rough around Edmonton. I don't think Edmonton, they've dealt with it before last year. I don't think they're going to take the bait on it. I think there's a massive loss, though, with Zach Hyman being hurt for the Edmonton Oilers. He's talking about a guy that scores his goals from about 6 feet away from the net, if not closer.
Loss.
It's a massive loss. He had an upper body injury. He had to get surgery and everything on it. So that's a big loss. But I think tonight you might see a little bit more of a high-scoring 5-4 game. Edmonton wins this one. I think they split the first two. They split the next two in Florida. Edmonton wins at home game 5, and they take it game 6 on the road.
Yeah. Well, everybody loves high-scoring games, so that's fun.
I mean, depends.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless it's your team and you're getting scored on.
That's true. That's a very good point. To me, I don't always equate scoring to fun, because you can have great defensive plays. You can have great goaltending that is just as exciting as a goal being scored in my eyes. That's just the way I view the game. It's funny because we get wrapped up in fantasy stats, especially with football. It's like, oh, if there's not scoring. I was like, last time I checked, interceptions are cool. Strip sacks are cool. Should be a fun one tonight. Seattle Gold Show, 1 hour down. I'm going to tell you, 2 centers for the Canes.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and it starts tonight, the Stanley Cup Finals. It's a rematch. Edmonton and Florida last year. Florida opened up a 3-0 series lead, hung on, 1 in 7. Edmonton is actually favored in the series, and they are favored tonight. But my favorite wager for the entire series is Leon Draisaitl, Conn Smythe, playoff MVP, plus 800. Connor McDavid is plus 100. You can't tell me that it's 8 times less likely that Draisaitl wins. Come on. FanDuel.com/AdamGold, and new customers get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel, 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You think rush hour karting is just about racing? Think again. At our Morrisville and Gardner locations, you're stepping into a world of high-speed go-karts, axe throwing, golf and racing simulators, arcade challenges, and a full-service kitchen serving up serious flavor. It's where corporate events turn into bonding moments and friend nights turn legendary. This isn't just entertainment, it's serious adult fun. Visit rhkfun.com to plan your experience today.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Down on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Dear employer,
as someone on the spectrum,
I possess a unique set of skills
that sets me apart. Thank you for your consideration.
An autistic inclusive workplace is good for business. It's time to make a change. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/win.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Use that chip on your shoulder. Use that chip. Listen to everybody saying you don't have a chance. Use everything you have and then go in there and be who you are. You're not going to get to the finals and reinvent the wheel. You want to run. You want to get out. You want to create confusion. You want to get out in transition. You want to get easy buckets. In the half court, you want to play through Halliburton and Siakam. You want to let your role players be stars, and you need some guys to step up and have some X factors.
Let your role players be stars. I like that. Let your role players be stars. I don't think I've heard that term before, Victoria.
I don't think so. I don't think I have either.
I haven't heard that before. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. By the way, if you missed the conversation we had with Eric Tulsky, the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, we're going to run that back at 2:30. But also, if you want to go and check it out now, go to 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan is the flagship station for the Carolina Hurricanes. But 99.9 The Fan is also the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show, located right here in Raleigh. Go subscribe there on YouTube. You can also follow along, subscribe. You can watch the show live, so no matter where you are, obviously we're across the state of North Carolina, but we got people in our YouTube comments, Victoria, chiming in, saying hello from Texas, some other places. So hello to each and every one of you watching and listening. We greatly appreciate it so much that you guys tap in with us and join us every single weekday. So we talked to Eric Tulsky earlier. I asked him specifically about the center position. Because in my eyes, when I look at the Canes roster, again, this is my opinion based off what I see. I think in an ideal situation, when you have Jordan Staal approaching age 37, that's what he's going to turn 37 this upcoming season. I think ideally, him alongside Jordan Martinook works wonders. Those two guys together, no matter who's skating alongside them, always seems to work. I think ideally, if Jordan Staal, Jordan Martinook, and a combination of William Carrier or Mark Jankowski, whomever it might be, if that's your quote-unquote fourth line for the Carolina Hurricanes this upcoming season, I think that's amazing. If that's your fourth line. Because I think the Canes have a plethora of middle six wingers on their team. Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, Jackson Blake. If you go get a top four, like a top line winger, then Svetch drops down into that middle six. Or if you bring up Bradley Nadeau, could be in that middle six, the quote-unquote second and third lines. You have a plethora. And Eric Tulsky himself said their strength, on at least among their forwards, is on their wing. That's where the strength is. You know what you're getting out of Jordan Staal on a consistent basis. You know what you're going to get out of Sebastian Aho on a consistent basis. What's left there? I think if Carolina can get to a point where they can have three true scoring lines that are also responsible defensively, because if you're not responsible defensively in Rob Brendamore's system, you're not going to work in Rob Brendamore's system. Simple as that. I think if Carolina can go after and get two guys that can play center on this team, and I'm talking contribute offensively, center. Like Mark Jankowski, if Mark Jankowski is a fourth line center, that's fine. He can also play the wing. I like what Jankowski brings to the team. Not expensive, big body, skates well, can kill penalties. You need those guys on your team. But when I look at the Canes roster going forward, I think if Taylor Hall and Logan Stankoven are on a line together, that's great. They need a center that can work well with them, that can get those guys the puck. That's what they need. Because we saw in Game 5 against the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final, Kotkaniemi started as that center. We saw Jack Roslovic at times centering those two. But we saw Kotkaniemi start the game at center between Hall and Stankoven. And then eventually later on in the game, Mark Jankowski's up with those guys. It's not a knock on Jankowski, but that's not what he's built to do. And it's unfortunate that Stankoven and Hall didn't have a center that they could work well with them. This is where I say if you can find two. The big problem, Victoria, it ain't that easy. Because otherwise, everyone would have them.
Right.
Otherwise, we'd all have them.
Mm-hmm.
Finding capable centers in the NHL that can play 18 minutes, 20 minutes a night, it's not an easy thing to do.
It is not.
We saw earlier today, just an hour and 20 minutes ago, the Colorado Avalanche re-signed Brock Nelson, who is a center, 33 years old, played pretty much his entire career with the New York Islanders. The Islanders traded him to Colorado, or I guess Colorado traded for him at the trade deadline. They just say, hey, you know what? We're keeping this guy. 3 years, $7.5 million a year for Brock Nelson. Now, he was projected by some analytical sites on a contract roughly around 3 years, $7.1 million. So, again, pretty close, right? Pretty close. For a 33-year-old, there are some guys like John Tavares from the Toronto Maple Leafs, who's 34 years old. There's Matt Duchene from the Dallas Stars, 34 years old. Those guys aren't long-term viable options. Now, they might be for a year or two, but again, how well does that fit for Carolina? What's a long-term solution? If you want to go after someone that could be a long-term solution for you as a top two center, you're going to have to do it via trade because those guys just don't hit the open market. They just don't. They just don't. It's like pass rushers in the NFL. Those guys just don't sit freely. Like, yeah, we're just going to let this 17-sack guy just walk via free agency.
Mm-hmm.
No. If you want to acquire that guy, you generally have to trade for him if you didn't draft him yourself.
Right.
That's just how things work.
Difficult to come by.
Yeah, it's not easy. Now, there might be one on occasion, and guess what teams generally have to do to acquire those guys? Pay extra.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Carolina is in a position where they can pay extra. If they want to go after a player that they feel is a number one or a number two center, Kotkaniemi might have to be part of that deal because the other team, well, I need someone that can play for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it might cost you a lot, and not just prospects and picks. Teams sometimes will say, hey, I'll take a prospect and a pick, but I want guys that can play right now. For example, look at the Mikko Rantanen trade this past year. I remember talking with Eric Tulsky about this when the trade happened, about when they traded Martin Necas and Jack Drury, they got Mikko in a couple of picks, they got Mikko Rantanen, and they got Taylor Hall. And I asked him how you didn't give up any of your prospects, you didn't give up any of your first-round picks. How vital was that in order to still preserve your team's future while still getting a top-end player at Rantanen at the time? And he said, I would have been 100% okay doing futures. They call them a futures deal. I would have been 100% okay giving up future stuff to get Rantanen because that means I would have kept, either Necas or Drury.
Right.
But the other team wanted, no, I need players that can play right now. So again, there's two sides to the coin. There's also a thing that you have to take into mind as well, keep in mind, I should say, that some of these players that you might want to go after might have no movement clauses or no trade clauses. So you can inquire about the player, but the player says, nah, I'm happy with where I am. I just want to stay right here.
Yeah, don't want to play with your team.
Well, it's not necessarily that. It's just I'm comfortable where I am.
Yeah.
I'm just, I got a family. I've got a kid that's 7 years old in school. I don't want to pack up and move my family. I want to stay right here. There's a reason why I wanted a no movement clause is because I wanted to be right here. Now, a team could do their due diligence and still ask if there's a proposal that they really like. You do your due diligence to make sure, but those are all things you have to take into consideration too. If you're going to give up, you might have to give up Jackson Blake along with a couple of picks and Kotkaniemi to go get somebody. You might, but also people are human. General managers are human. They might look at Jackson Blake and say, yeah, well, that guy was still just a third-round pick or whatever it was, or a mid-round pick just a few years ago. And they still view him as that, not as a guy that put up 17 goals and 17 assists as a rookie this past year that still has some room to grow. Again, it's all about perspective from each of these teams. It's all about perspectives. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what Eric Tulsky does. If you really want to take a big swing, would you trade Andrei Svechnikov? Wait, is that something you consider? If you can trade Svechnikov and a couple things to get a center and then use all the money that you have to go sign a big top-end winger, is that something you consider doing? Because if you want to get big, you got to pay big. And Svechnikov is never going to have a greater value than what he has right now. He's got 4 years left on a contract at $7.75 million. A lot of teams can take that on.
Yeah.
Because again, I talked about how Jackson Blake, people might look at like, he was a mid-round pick a few years ago. People might look at Kotkaniemi or Svechnikov and say, oh, yeah, those guys were top 3 picks.
Right.
I remember those guys. I love that guy. I can make it work with that guy because I loved that guy when they got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't have a chance to draft him. There's a human element that comes into all this that you just can't quantify.
Well, that's the extra difficult part to all of this stuff is you don't know who's going to jihad with, everybody. You don't know who's going to mesh well with which line and this guy. And sometimes you get pleasantly surprised, like Stankoven or, Taylor Hall. He's a phenomenal hockey player. He was just in a bad environment.
Yeah.
But being put into, the Canes totally rejuvenated him. And I love him. So you never know.
That's why I asked Tulsky about finding the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Like finding the right people that just fit.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of great players out there, but finding the right person that fits in the locker room is the big thing.
Yeah, and Tim and I talked about this yesterday, how Rod and Eric are like a perfect balance because Rod is like the personality guy. He's the guy who's like, is this one going to be good in the locker room? Is he going to be good with the guys? Mesh well? Eric is like analytics, business. We can afford this person.
Yeah.
We should move this chess piece. So it's a good balance.
Sam Bennett is going to be the apple of a lot of people's eye when it comes to the center position this upcoming offseason, if he even makes it to free agency.
Yeah.
Because, again, I mentioned Brock Nelson getting $7.5 million a year. Sam Bennett's going to let there and go, if he's getting 3 years, 7.5, I'm 4 or 5 years younger than him.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the postseason resume. He might have some better regular season numbers, but when it's April, May, and June, I get the job done.
Yep.
So, yeah, Sam Bennett, 7.5? No. Got to go up from there.
And he'll get it.
Believe it or not, Florida has the cap space to keep him.
Right.
And Aaron Ekblad, who are 2 of the top free agents out there on the market. So then now you're going to, John Tavares, 34 years old, coming from Toronto. Then Matt Duchene, who I don't think had an even strength goal this postseason for Dallas.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting into. It gets real thin, real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Real thin, real fast. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria producing the show. Speaking of players maybe stepping up, teams that made some moves this offseason, Carolina Panthers. Who makes the big jump this upcoming season? Because that's one way your team can improve. Your guys just naturally get better and grow. Who makes that big leap on the offensive side? Someone not named Bryce Young. Next.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
It's 3 consecutive Eastern Conference championships for the Florida Panthers.
Hockey tonight. Florida, Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 1.
McDavid scores!
Puck drop at 8.
Nico Mikkola gets the cash and Florida's off and running.
On your audio home for the Stanley Cup Final. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. It's on to the French Open semifinals for world number one Jannik Sinner, who dominated unseeded Russian Alexander Bublik in their quarterfinal match at Court Philippe Chatrier today, 6-1, 7-5, 6-love. Earlier, second-seeded Coco Gauff rallied from one set down to beat fellow American Madison Keys in 3 sets. Keys dominated early but ended up snapping her 11-match Grand Slam winning streak when Gauff inevitably pounced.
She cleaned up her side of the court a little bit. I don't think she was giving me as many free points. And I think that coupled with I was spraying a little bit more, I felt like I kind of really lost the momentum at the end. And that's kind of where she just started rolling with it.
So Keys exits and Gauff moves on to play unseeded Frenchwoman Lois Poisson, who upset Mira Andreeva in straight sets. With this tennis update, I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
Victoria, I know you and I were at a very packed Bank of America Stadium this past weekend watching Metallica.
I have never seen that many people in that stadium, and not because I go for Panther games.
Yeah. It's funny, my girlfriend asked me, when's the last time Bank of America had this many people in it? I said, I think when the Dallas Cowboys were in town this past season. I think that's
Probably. Or
but
the Eagles.
That show was sold out there at Bank of America. I know there's definitely some listeners that I talked to that were, I was at the show too.
Yeah.
It was an absolute blast. I would love to see Bank of America rocking like that for a Panther game.
I actually made a tweet about with all the games that I've been to. I've been to a lot. My dad and I have been going since day one. So I've been to a lot of Bank of America stadiums back when it was like Ericsson Stadium. And I've never felt it bounce like it did. Like just the vibrations of people moving around and being excited and cheering and happy ever.
It was a lot of fun. It was an absolute blast. It was a bucket list item. Thanks to my girlfriend who got us the tickets for Christmas.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas gift. It was an absolute blast. But the reason why I bring up Bank of America, the promo. By the way, it's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. That's Victoria producing the show. The reason why I bring up the Metallica show and the Bank of America is because I genuinely want to see Bank of America Stadium like it was in 2015.
Same.
I would love to see that come back. And I think Panthers fans want to see that too.
Yeah.
And obviously the players want to have that because it means they're playing well. They're successful. They're winning. That's what we all want to see. So, Victoria, we're going to do a little fun game here. Obviously, we're going to talk about some players that can elevate their play, make a big jump from last year to this year. And I'm outside of Bryce Young, I think that one speaks for itself.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little fun here. Offensive players for the Carolina Panthers. We're going to do a blind ranking 1 through 5. And no rookies, by the way.
No
rookies listed here because you're rookies. I'm not going to rank you right now because
we have no
you're
idea.
a rookie. Exactly. You don't know.
Nope.
So I'm going to rank players going into this upcoming season. Panthers offense, a blind ranking. I don't know what players Victoria is going to say, and I got to rank them 1 through 5. Again, blind ranking. Victoria, take it away.
All right, I'm going to start off with the doozy. We were talking about him a lot yesterday. Xavier Legette.
Oh.
I know.
This is tough one.
I know.
I want to put him probably at 4. It's probably where I want to put him. It's at 4. If it's not 4, it's 5. But also, I mean, you might throw at me like Brady Christensen. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know who you're going to come with next. So I'm going to go Xavier Legette, blind ranking 4. So 4 is taken off the board right now.
4 is off the board.
'Kay.
Next up, Tommy Tremble. I know.
Gosh, you're crushing me right now. Tommy Tremble, I'm going to put Tommy Tremble at 5. We actually did get the news yesterday, Victoria, that Tommy Tremble probably won't be available until the end of the preseason, is most likely is what Dave Canales said. So Tommy Tremble had a back injury last year that he had suffered and played through a bit and was rehabbing, and to paraphrase what Dave Canales said yesterday, that he would get warmed up and everything would feel pretty good, but it's when, the body cooled down and some of the adrenaline of everything, that's when things really start to hurt and things were really uncomfortable. So they opted to have surgery about a week or so ago, about a week and a half ago. Everything about the surgery, by all accounts, is successful, but there's a rehabilitation process and everything that goes with it. So you might not see Tommy Tremble at the starting training camp, which is big. I'm a big fan of Tommy. I've had a chance to interview him one-on-one a couple of times. I think he's a good dude. I think he could be a good player. I think he could be a good number 2-3 tight end for this team. But with the injury and everything going in, I'll probably put him at number 5. So I got Xavier Legette, again, blind ranking. I don't know what player Victoria is going to say next. So Xavier Legette was the first one at 4. Yep. Tommy Tremble is the second one you said. I'm going to put Tommy Tremble at 5. So everyone else now is going to be 1, 2, or 3. I've set myself up.
Exactly. All right, here we go. Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, Chuba. Again, Chuba. Offensive players. It's either 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I
love him.
I think I have to go with 1 for Chuba. I'm going to put, again, these are Panthers offensive players. I'm going to put Chuba at 1.
Okay.
Based off of this, didn't matter who the quarterback was last year. There was consistency from Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing. There was consistency from him, and we saw him in some overtime games be the guy in OT that won it. Chuba Hubbard, to me, number 1.
Yeah, I love him so much.
Chuba Hubbard, number 1.
All right, next up, Jalen Coker.
Oh.
I know.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to put Coker at 3. And I'm actually comfortable putting right now Coker over Legette. Because believe it or not, guess who led the team in yards per reception last year for the Carolina Panthers?
Yep.
Jalen Coker did.
They did.
It was Jalen Coker. I think Coker, he doesn't have top end speed. But one thing I think he really excels at, anything that's within his range, he's catching. Like, I feel like he has great hands. But it's those intermediate routes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I need you to go 8-yard crossing route or like a quick post that's 10 yards down the field or a 10-yard out, whatever it is. Those intermediate routes, I think, is where he excels, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like if you need like an 8-yard crossing route, there's your guy. 10, 12-yard crossing route, Jalen Coker's your dude. I actually really like him in that role as like that quote-unquote possession receiver. Again, he averaged 14.9 yards per catch last year. I think if I remember correctly, it's 14.9. He led the team with that last year as an undrafted rookie. I'm comfortable putting him at number 3.
Right.
Based off everyone you've said so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so the final one. So we have blind ranking. Xavier Legette was the first one you said. I put him at 4. Then you said Tommy Tremble. I put him at 5. You said Chuba. I put him at 1. Then you came with Jalen Coker. I put Coker at 3.
Right.
This final one goes into number 2.
Yep. Whether you like it or not, which you might like this one here. Andy Dalton.
Oh, God.
Red Rocket.
You know, in that Raiders game, that's probably how I would have rated this.
I'm telling you. I
That's
love
probably
Andy.
how I would have rated this.
Andy would have been my number 1, but that's okay. It's okay.
Andy would have been
It's
your
not
number
bad.
1?
It's not bad. So overall, you've got Chuba Hubbard. This is your blind ranking.
Yeah, blind ranking.
So Chuba is number 1.
Yep.
Andy Dalton, number 2. Jalen Coker, 3. Xavier Legette and his raccoon, number 4. Tommy Tremble, number 5.
All right, there it is.
That's the ranking.
That's the blind ranking. Panthers offensive players, non-rookies.
Right.
It's so hard to put. It's so hard to put a rookie. Like
I know.
Like how am I supposed
What are
to?
you
If you
judging?
said Mitchell Evans, like where am I supposed to put Mitchell Evans in this?
Right.
Which, by the way, Mitchell Evans is going to be counted upon a lot most likely this season because right now it's him and Jatavian Sanders as your top 2 tight ends, which actually kind of gets me to the next conversation, actually. It's like, who are a couple players that need to make a step up this upcoming season for the Carolina Panthers? Again, not named Bryce Young. Bryce Young, again, I'll say that one speaks for itself, okay? We can have those conversations. You never know. We might have one later on this week. But not named Bryce Young because Bryce Young needs to show that he can do what he did at the end of the last season, like the last 6-7 weeks or so. Can you do that for a full 17 games? That's something that's got to be proven, right? But players that do need to elevate their play. Jatavian Sanders, by all accounts of what I heard from training camp and from everyone else, I know Paul Ihander on Next Up on 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh mentioned it this morning that apparently he's slimmed down by about 10 pounds. Got slimmed down a little bit, feeling a little bit more fit, feeling a little bit more quicker. Guess what? Jatavian Sanders, you're going to be tight end 1 going into this season. You're going to be tight end 1, especially with Tommy Tremble. Even when Tommy Tremble comes back, he's not going to be 100% because Tommy Tremble, unfortunately, is going to be rehabilitating from a back surgery as opposed to training to get ready for a season. There's a difference between the two. Training and rehab are different things. Rehabbing to be able to play is different than training to perform and be fit. So Jatavian Sanders, in my eyes, is a player that if Carolina can have someone that at his size and his athleticism that could be a pass-catching threat between the hash marks for Bryce Young, only helps McMillan, only helps Legette, only helps Coker. Thielen doesn't need help. He's already good. But it's going to be, if McMillan is drawing attention on the outside, Dave Canales said he's playing our X receiver position. If he's drawing attention on the outside, and if you have the speed and the physical abilities that we know Xavier Legette to have, we just need to actually see it in a game. There's no reason why that Jatavian Sanders can't be a threat in the middle of the field for Bryce Young. There's no reason why it can't be. Actually, go back to the game where he got hurt against Kansas City. I was there at Bank of America Stadium, sitting there in the press box, and he was making some awesome plays. Jatavian Sanders was. And then, unfortunately, late in the first half, he had that neck injury, just kind of got flipped up, landed on his head, neck injury, missed a few weeks, and really just wasn't the same after that. But if that physical athletic, big tight end that we've seen excel in the NFL. He has to be that for this team. He has to be that now, especially now. And also, continue to improve and up your blocking. Because as a tight end, you're asked to do both. But that's a player who, it might not be the sexy name to talk about, because obviously the probably the biggest one that needs to make a leap from last year was his rookie classmate, Xavier Legette. Someone that you mentioned in the blind ranking there, Victoria. I mean, Legette's got you're a first-round pick. Well, it's just pick 32. I don't care. First round is first round. Now, obviously, top 10 is different than pick 32, but you're pick 32. Even at the end of the first round, you still got to be expected to perform better than just 400-plus yards this past season receiving. Like, there's got to be a leap in his game. And there should be, especially because of everyone else that's been added on the team offensively. With McMillan coming in, they got another capable running back to go along with Chuba Hubbard. They added Mitchell Evans as a tight end. Things should open up for you even more if you're Xavier Legette. You have to take advantage of it. Staying healthy, catching the ball consistently. That's on him. That's on him. Can't be like we had in the Saints game last year. A lot of people like to bring up the Philadelphia Eagles game, laying out for that pass, which probably would have tied the game at 22 apiece. They're late in the fourth quarter against the Philadelphia Eagles. Who knows what happens on the PAT? But he doesn't come up with that catch. But also, you go back to the Saints game at home where the Carolina Panthers won by 1 at Bank of America. Legette literally had a ball in his hands just get ripped out of his hands by a backup corner. Just had the ball ripped out of his hands for an interception on a perfectly thrown ball by Bryce Young. Those kinds of things can't happen this season. They just can't. They simply can't if this team wants to get to where it wants to be. So those are two names on the offensive side of things, Victoria. Now let's shift things over to the defense. Let's not forget that defense sucked last year.
It did.
Call it what it was. The defense stunk. It was historically bad.
And it used to be the only thing that saved us.
It wasn't
games.
that long ago.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't that long. I know I'm harsh with that criticism, but guess what? That's earned. When you have over 3,000 yards rushing allowed on the season, over 170 yards rushing allowed per game this past year, you give up over 31 points per game. It was an historically bad defense. Now, again, there's a ton of injuries last year. I don't think there's a lot of depth to begin with, and then you add injuries on top of that, it all just compounded. It all compounded. But a player I think that needs to elevate, I even said it going into last year, is Derrick Brown. Derrick Brown is one of the best run-stopping interior defensive linemen in the entire NFL. You don't get 100 tackles in a season by accident. What can he do to impact the game on passing downs? That's what I want to see. We saw A'Shawn Robinson last year tied for the Panthers' lead in sacks with 5.5 as an interior defensive lineman. Can Derrick Brown get to that point? 5.5, 6. Now he's coming off the knee injury, had the meniscus tear in week 1 last year against the New Orleans Saints. Had the knee operation, so he's still recovering. He's about 8 months removed from that. So still recovering, still getting back. But can he elevate his play to where he can impact the game on passing downs? Because this team, this Panthers defense, Victoria, here's a couple names for you. Mario Addison, Julius Peppers.
Yep.
Remember those guys?
I do.
In 2017, each of those guys had 11 sacks in 2017. Since then, so we're talking 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Since then, the Panthers have only had 2 players reach double-digit sacks.
See, that's not good.
Yeah. We're
Not
talking
at all.
2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a player reach double-digit sacks twice.
And I wonder if those were seasons that they were 500 or above.
It was Hassan Reddick back in 2021, and it was Brian Burns in 2022. They weren't.
No.
They weren't. Because they haven't had a winning season in however long. So, no, they weren't. That's it. Those guys aren't even on your team anymore. Last year, your team, one of the worst in the NFL when it comes to sack percentage. So, sack percentage, I don't look at total sacks. I look at sack percentage. So, we're looking at dropbacks versus actual sacks. So, again, what's that percentage? One of the worst in the NFL again for the second straight year. It was actually even a worse percentage in 2023 when you have Brian Burns and Derek Brown both playing and Frankie Louvu.
Not good.
And it was, believe it or not, actually by a 10th of a percentage better last year, which is really weird to say. So that's the reason why I put it on Derek Brown. Can you impact the game from a pass rushing standpoint? Even to the point where you may not get sacks, but if you force the quarterback, you get pressure on the quarterback to the point where they have to move off their spot, and then one of your edge rushers can chase him down. Whether that's Nick Scorton or Princely Umamielen, Pat Jones, and the next guy that I'm going to mention, DJ Wanham.
Yeah.
DJ Wanham was one of your quote-unquote big free agent signings going into the 2024 season. You knew he was coming off of a quad injury. Unfortunately, not only rehab from the quad injury, but also was dealing with he dealt with a blood clot issue last year. So that's one of the reasons why it took him so long to actually get on the field. Only played in 8 games last year. But there was a little bit of a noticeable difference last year when DJ Wanham was on the field. 8 games last year, 4 sacks. If he does play a full 17, maybe he misses a game, let's say 16 games, can he get to double digits? Is it Pat Jones that they signed? Those two guys together, they both came from Minnesota. Who can get to the quarterback? That's a big-time question. It's hard to ask the 2 rookies that you took on day 2 to just step in right away. Again, day 2 picks to come in and be like, yeah, each of you guys both get us 11 sacks this year, just like Julius Peppers and Mario Addison did 2 years ago. That's a lot to ask of a rookie. Those are guys that need to step up this year for the Panthers. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Speaking of football, speaking of college football, talking about these rookies coming out of the college football ranks, ESPN actually yesterday put out their Football Power Index National Championship odds, Victoria, for 2025.
Look at them.
Leading the way, the Fighting Arch Mannings. That's right, Arch Manning, Archie Manning, Texas Longhorns. That's your number one. Chances of winning a championship according to ESPN's Football Power Index. Their national championship odds lead the way at 22.2%, Victoria. Even the computers are all in on Manning. They're all in.
Of course.
They're all in. But I try and bring things back here to the ACC. All right, who has the best odds, according to the Football Power Index, of winning a national championship in the ACC? Well, 7th best odds overall, top ACC team is, believe it or not, Clemson. Good old Dabo Swinney. Little old Clemson, Victoria. 3.8% chance. And they actually have the Miami Hurricanes at a 3.2% chance. 8th best overall odds to win the whole darn thing.
Okay.
The next ACC team after that, SMU, 18th overall at 0.6%.
Oh, wow.
0.6%. Now, I know there's been a lot of conversation about, I'm sure Adam touched on it probably earlier this week or at some point, Victoria, about expanding the college football playoff to 16 teams.
Right.
Which I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it because in my eyes, when you start to water down a product, it becomes less special. And once you water it down, you can't go back. I don't like the expanded playoff to 16 teams, but I think we all knew that eventually we're going to get there. So let's just go ahead and go there. I get it. I'm not going to hate it. I'm just going to say I'm not the biggest fan of it. Now, at the college football playoff, if the committee, they want to change things and they go to the top 5 conference champions plus the next 11 highest rated seeds. So top 5 conference champions plus the next 11 highest rated teams, I think that's fair. The 5 plus 11 is what they're describing it as. I think that's okay. I think there should be a reward for winning your conference championship. And seed, and when it comes to that 5 plus 11, seed them accordingly. Now, I do think, again, the reward for winning a conference championship in that first round, you should host a game. That's just my view. But I don't think the top 4 or 5 seeds all have to be conference champions. But I think the conference champions should at least host round 1. Again, it's a reward for playing the extra game and winning the extra game. And also, after the first round, you can kind of do like the NFL does, where you reseed. The top highest remaining seed plays the lowest remaining seed, and et cetera, all the way through until you get to the championship. I think that actually will be a way to do it.
Yeah.
Because, again, for example, if the 2 seed gets upset by the 15 seed, and then normally the winner of 2-15 plays the winner of 7 versus 10. So the 7 seed gets to play the 15th seed in a normal bracket, but the 1 seed might have to play the 8. Well, that's not balanced, right? Now, again, that's the way things work when it comes to brackets, but it's not college basketball where you're playing every other day. It's football. You're playing once a week. You have an opportunity to spread things out, and you see it in the NFL. That's how I would do it. Now, eventually, again, we're going to get to the 16-team playoff. It's going to be there. It's what it is. I just hope the ACC, if we would have saw it last year, ACC would have gotten a couple of teams in, or 3 teams in. Clemson, because winning the conference championship, SMU and Miami all would have gotten in. But look at the Football Power Index, Victoria. Take a wild guess on how many SEC teams are ranked in the top 20 of Football Power Index to win a national championship.
19.
Close. Close.
I would say, okay, I was going to say
14.
at least half.
14.
Wow.
Texas at 1, Georgia at 2, Bama at 4, because Bama. Tennessee at 10, Texas A&M 11, LSU 12, Ole Miss 13, Auburn 14, South Carolina 16, Oklahoma 17, Florida at 19. Actually, I may have miscounted on that one. Not 14. My apologies on that. It was like 11.
It's a lot.
But still,
it's still over half.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I'm sorry I miscounted there. But Big 10 had 4. ACC had 3. Big 12 just 1. Take that. And then you have Notre Dame Independent. But it's all the big names all there at the top. Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Penn State, Oregon, Clemson, Miami. Those are the top 8, followed by Notre Dame, Tennessee. The big brands of football still reign. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. We need to take a quick break on the other side. We got to stretch. I got a little sore back here, Victoria. We got to stretch, and we got to play some bets next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days
for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we are finally here. The NBA Finals. It's Magic versus Larry. Wait, no, okay, it's not Magic versus Larry. Doesn't matter. It's the finals, and you can find everything you need for the finals, including live betting, right there on the FanDuel app. It's the best app in the business. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late. And new customers, $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So pick something easy, win it, and cash in. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy. You're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
I'm really excited about next season, considering this was supposed to be a rebuild year. But with these new guys, like Bradley Nadeau, we've got Nikishin coming eventually. If we've got Hall still here, Jackson Blake, I mean, there's so much promise and potential. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, and just wait till the big kid gets ready to play.
The Adam Gold Show.
That big kid known as Alexander Nikishin, by the way.
Yeah, that one.
I'm excited to see what he can do with a full year of, like a full off season to actually train the way the Carolina Hurricanes, how they play, like train to play that style, how they skate as a team. I think there's a lot of promise about what he can do. Again, rookies coming into the NHL, I kind of try and tamper expectations a little bit, Victoria, but you can't help but be excited for that guy. Don't be shocked if he doesn't come out of the gates right away like, bam, look at that, 10 goals in 6 games.
Look at this guy.
I mean, unless you're going to do it. But don't be surprised if that happens. We've seen it take defensemen quite a bit to really adjust to this system and how they play.
Yeah.
The same thing will be with Nikishin, but I expect once we actually turn the calendar into 2026, January, February, that's where you're going to start to see him flourish, in my eyes.
Yeah, at least he's already experienced the deep end.
I know, exactly. It's thrown into some playoff games.
All right, there you go.
Maybe he needs to stretch, and we're actually going to do the same thing here.
I feel like I always need to stretch. But one thing, I don't know if I'm going to be trying this at all. I don't think that you're a wine drinker. I feel like we've had conversations.
I'm really not a wine drinker, no.
Yeah, I don't think you'll like this kind of wine. So there's a new TikTok trend, which I feel like saying. Yeah, I feel like when you open it up with there's a TikTok trend, you should just say no. But this one is using white wine, and they're very specific. They want you to use a chilled glass of Sauvignon Blanc, and then they want you to put frozen jalapenos in it.
Sorry, what?
I know. That's been the trend here lately, and I don't know if it's because Some people like spicy margaritas, which I've had a spicy marg before. Like, that's not terrible. Sometimes it's like an offset to a fruity one. I've had that before where you have like a strawberry margarita and then they put a little spicy on top. Like, that's not terrible, but this, I don't know about that, but people are saying it is, quote, divine. I feel like their pinkies are out when they say this too. It's divine, refreshing, light with a bit of spice.
So Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
With frozen jalapenos.
Yeah, like ice cubes. Yep. That's the
You
thing.
can have it.
They can keep
You can
it.
have it.
They can keep all of it.
You
Like,
can have it. That's all.
just-
That's all yours. You
just
can have
keep all of it to yourself.
Tell that to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Hey, give this a shot.
Yeah, no, if she likes that, you should definitely tell her that. Michael does not like that stuff. But
I might. You know what? I might swing by the grocery store after the show and buy like a jalapeno.
Yeah,
or a
right?
couple of them and like just.
right?
All right, babe. I just want you to try this. I'll report on it tomorrow.
I don't know if you're supposed to like keep the seeds because I know you're supposed to take the seeds out of stuff so it's not as spicy when you cook with them.
Sure.
I don't know if they're keeping them in or if that even makes a difference when they're frozen in a drink.
Is it the whole pepper frozen, or are you dicing the
so
pepper
what it
up? That's
looked
what
like,
I'm curious.
I saw a picture of it, and
Okay.
it just literally it had like a glass of wine, and then they had sliced jalapenos.
Okay.
And I guess froze them and then put them in like ice cubes.
My girlfriend just texted me all caps.
Yeah,
no, thank you.
She's like, no.
thank you.
Yeah, me and you both,
All right,
because
fair.
no thank you. Snobby wine experts, and I did not call them snobby, but this article did, would freak about this typically, but they're actually like some are on board with it, saying one expert, you know, because we got to have an expert here, definitely pinkies out. The wine has organic compounds, and it is found, which is found in bell peppers and jalapenos. So having that particular wine makes like a citrusy characteristic with it that pairs well. I don't know. This is all
organic compounds.
so
Well,
weird. Okay.
Yeah, I'd hope so. It's from a plant.
It's just all weird. So yeah, that's the latest thing that's been going on with that stuff. So who knows? Also, this is kind of random too. So Tim and I mentioned this yesterday. If you heard it, then you already know this. I'm a big music nerd. I love music, all
I
kinds
can't
of
confirm
music.
that.
Yes. So I also like little random factoids about songs or artists. I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff like that. And so the 20th anniversary of James Blunt's song, You're Beautiful. You remember that song? Okay. That song, I found out kind of where it came from, and it's a little weird.
Go on.
It's a little weird.
You're beautiful.
That one,
Yeah.
exactly. So it came out in 2005, and since it's celebrating its 20th anniversary, he had an interview, and he said, quote, 20 years ago today, I released a song that bought me this house. Whoever thought a song about being intoxicated on some droogs, being, high as a kite on drugs, stalking someone else's girlfriend would resonate quite so much.
What?
So he was stalking someone else's girlfriend,
Wow.
came up with that song, and there you go.
Like 20 years ago when if you had Facebook, you could Facebook stalk somebody, but that was like the extent of it.
No, this
What's
is
on her
like
MySpace
I
page?
went to the grocery store and I saw her, and now every time Tuesday rolls around at 4:05, I go there just in case she shops on Tuesday at 4:05.
That sounds like an old Craigslist misconnections.
I know. So
Wow.
James Blunt got his hit "You're Beautiful" from being a creeper. So there.
You know what else is beautiful, Victoria?
Placing
Winning
some good
money.
bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
I mean, now you can just, Google somebody or find their social
Oh
media.
yeah.
And just,
Oh yeah.
the stalking's already done for you.
Right. You could be a creep and no one would even know it.
What's on your LinkedIn resume?
Yeah, that's a level.
All right. right, Victoria, real quick. What do we got tonight? What's your bet?
So, tonight we have Game 1, Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep.
I have done this bet numerous times and, of course, never put a dime on it, but it's come through. Leon Draisaitl, anytime goal scorer. He's plus 120. So
nice. I like
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That should be easy money right there.
Yep.
I'm also going to go tonight with the game. Give me just the Edmonton Oilers minus 1.5 goals, plus 190.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of on the same track with me. I'm going to take the Oilers. I'm going to take the over 6.5 because I also think that it's going to be a high-scoring game. That's plus 255 together.
Okay. Connor McDavid to get 2 assists. 2 assists tonight, plus 200.
Okay, nice.
I think he gets one on a Draisaitl goal, and he also gets an empty netter assist. Empty netter assist.
I like it.
Again, assist.
Yeah, I like that. So, another thing I like is when my Cubbies win. They won yesterday against the Nationals. Let's do it again, Chicago Cubs. Winning over 8.5 plus 205. Boom.
All right, my final one here. Give me Sergei Bobrovsky. Minus 130 over 24.5 saves today. That's where we're going to go. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox in for Adam Gold today. What did Dave Canales say about Tommy Tremble that has me concerned? You'll hear that on the Wall of Sound next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Riding a motorcycle is an experience like no other, but there's definitely important things to remember. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and one of my best friends is becoming a new rider this season. She cannot wait to take the bike out and go on all kinds of adventures, which I'm excited for her too, but I did warn her that now she's got to be aware of not only herself, but distracted drivers around her. Now, whether you're a new rider or a seasoned vet, it's so important to remember that if you're ever in an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, make sure to call my friends at Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they understand. They get it. They know the value of your bike and your gear. Case evaluations are always going to be free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and my Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Compared to a similar home right around the corner, our home was appraised for $80,000 less.
Has this happened to you because of your race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Stat on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on non-approved credit. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going,
gone! Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
UNC is exploring selling naming rights to Kenan Stadium, a corporate sponsor. So what do you think? I'm workshopping this.
Okay.
Toys of Eros Stadium. That's Jordan Hudson's mom's emporium and museum from Provincetown.
I like it.
You like that?
Kind of like a spin-off.
Welcome to UNC's Toys of Eros Stadium. Kenan, whatever.
Batteries not included.
Well done. I'm writing that down. Batteries not included.
Batteries not included. Getting intro
Tush pushes.
from Tush Pushes all on hump day.
I know. Adam's not here for any of this. I have to text him and let him know.
But we are, Victoria.
We are.
We are. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. You know, who knows what he's doing on this Wednesday? A little time off for him. He earned it.
Hopefully sleeping. I'm sure that was on the to-do list. Probably barn things. That's usually on the to-do list. Probably something soccer related because his son, I think, is doing soccer things.
That's true. By the way, that's Victoria Vonecker, the voice you just heard. Maybe he's at the soccer tournament.
Maybe.
TST, located in Cary, North Carolina, Wakemid Soccer Park, which is where the NC Courage and NCFC play. But the soccer tournament, which is third year it's taking place, it's 7v7 soccer, men's and women's divisions. $1 million at stake. Winner takes all.
Mm-hmm.
You win the whole thing, your team takes home $1 million. You get different celebrities and people that are playing in it, even former great players.
Yeah, Pat McAfee, wasn't he there last year?
Yeah, Pat McAfee played he's there again he's doing his show and everything from there. He's tied in with the club. WWE superstar Sheamus is there, part of a club. He's coaching on the sides, not actually playing. But we've seen that. We've seen
one of the Watt brothers, I think.
J.J. Watt played in it last year. Hope Solo, the former U.S. women's national team goalie, she's participating in that. She has her own team that she put together for this. Clint Dempsey, formerly of the U.S. men's national team, he's participating. You see some of these, academy players from these top end clubs that come. And I remember Wrexham, I think remember correctly, had a team.
Yeah.
Brought guys from the past and all that. So it's a lot of fun. I think it's really cool that our state has it. I think it's really, to me, what makes the North Carolina special from a sports standpoint is that we can have special events like this, that we can have NCAA tournaments take place, whether it's in Greensboro, Charlotte, Raleigh. We have those events take place here as well. And the ACC obviously has their championship at Bank of America Stadium. The Division II baseball championships are at the USA Baseball Complex in Cary. There's so much that takes place. We've seen NCAA host the women's lacrosse Final Four at Wakemid Soccer Park, actually.
Yeah.
I was actually there 2 years ago when that took place, or I guess it was last year, 2024 season. So there's a whole bunch of different stuff that takes place in our state from a sports standpoint that are really, truly special events. And I think that's one of the things that makes our state so unique when it comes to sports and the sports culture that we have here. Including, on our wall of sound, our football team.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
By the way, the NFL actually just sent out an email a little bit ago.
Oh.
About noon. It was about 2 hours ago. about games like preseason games, Victoria, that you can watch on the NFL Network.
Well, look at that.
Both of the Panthers' home preseason games are going to be on the NFL Network.
Oh.
So, yeah, Thursday, August 7th against the Cleveland Browns at home. I'm sorry, Friday, August 8th. My apologies. Home against the Cleveland Browns. That's going to be on NFL Network. That Thursday night, week 3 of the preseason. The Steelers versus the Panthers, Thursday, August 21st at Bank of America Stadium. You can watch that on the NFL Network as well.
We'll be there.
Plenty of going on. You know who you likely won't see be playing in any of those games? Tight end Tommy Tremble. Dave Canales, after practice yesterday, after OTAs, gave an update on the fifth-year tight end.
Tommy, it doesn't look like Tommy's going to be ready to go at training camp. I don't know specifically what the timeline is. There's a window in there where he could get back to us at some point as we go into the preseason and camp. But right now, it's just like we have to take it one day at a time, with the surgery. He feels great, but there's a lot that goes into that, making sure that he's right. And so we'll kind of just take it, day by day as we go into camp.
So Tremble was signed to a contract extension this offseason, was drafted by the team in 2021, dealt with a back injury, dealt with a few injuries last season, but dealt mostly with a back injury at different points last season. They tried rehab and rehabilitation in the offseason. It worked to an extent, but what they realized was during training, whether it's lifts, whether it's practice, that getting warmed up was okay, but it was when practice was over and you're cooling down, that's when things really started to be bad and uncomfortable. So that's when they decided to look further into it. That's why they decided to opt for the surgery. Now, because the follow-up was, okay, why did you guys take so long to get this done? And that's basically the answer Dave Canales just gave in terms of, yeah, we tried, but unfortunately, what I just told you about things flaring up, they decided to opt to have the surgery now. So you might not see Tommy Tremble at all during the preseason. Who knows if he's ready during week 1? To be determined. We shall see. But one of the new additions to the team, Pat Jones, edge rusher, comes over from the Minnesota Vikings, might be a starter this upcoming year, especially with Jadeveon Clowney being released right after the NFL draft. Pat Jones talked about how everyone and everything coming together as a unit on defense.
We just trying to get everything together right now. I think the big thing that you could see from everybody, like when y'all watching the end of practice, we having fun. And I feel like just everybody coming together as a unit, I feel like that's going to be big time.
So Pat Jones, like I said, is probably going to be counted on to be a starter, at least at the beginning of the year. We've seen Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer wrote a great article on this back around the NFL draft about Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator, doesn't really play rookies right away. Just if you look at his history as a defensive coordinator, rookies generally don't find the field, at least early on in the season. Now, there have been times where rookies have played because of injuries to other guys, not just because, hey, this guy's performing well, let's throw this rookie in. You drafted 2 edge rushers on day 2 of the NFL draft. Nick Scorton out of Texas A&M in the 2nd round, Princely Umamielen in the 3rd round out of Florida. Now, Nick Scorton might be better against the run right away. Umamielen might be the better, more, I guess, lack of a better term, more true pass rusher. So it might be a little bit more situational for him. But they let Clowney go, which leaves DJ Wadham and Pat Jones as really the true vets in that spot. Now, there's still DJ Johnson, who was drafted in 2023. He's going into year 3. He's 27 years old. He has a half sack in his career. Hasn't figured out how to get to the quarterback. Might not even be on the team. You have Amari Barno, who's a special teams guy, which is fine. I think he can excel in that. But who's going to be the guys to get to the quarterback? Pat Jones is going to be counted upon to get to the quarterback. And Pat Jones was asked if they're working on changing the QB sack stat from last year. How things are a little bit different from last year.
I mean, yeah, that's something that they did with last year, but I mean, that was last year. We just got to move on, and we just have to set a new standard, and we have to decide what that standard is, and we have to chase that standard and do better than what we set that standard as.
So, yeah, getting to the quarterback, I don't know, Victoria, important. Last time I checked.
Pretty important, yeah.
So, the Carolina Panthers last season, their sack percentage, 5.69%, 28th in the NFL. The year before that, in 2023, when you had Frankie Louvu, in 2023 when you had Brian Burns, in 2023 when you had Derek Brown, was ranked 31st in the NFL at 5.31%.
Not great.
Getting to the quarterback has been an issue for a long time. Since 2017, that season, 2017, Julius Peppers, Mario Addison each had 11 sacks in 2017. Since then, in the 7 seasons since, only Hassan Reddick in 2021 and Brian Burns in 2022. Those are the only 2 times we've seen the Panthers have someone go double-digit sacks. That's it. That is it. So yeah, getting to the quarterback is an absolute premium. But there's a mix of young guys and vets, and Pat Jones talked about that as well yesterday.
I mean, it's kind of crazy because when we both got to Minnesota, we was both the younger guys in the room. So we sit down and talk about it and laugh about it, and just we really talk about it too to see what we could do to be better and to use what we learned from our older vets and pass it down to our rookies.
So that other guy talking about in Minnesota, that's DJ Wanham, who was a free agent signing last year for the Carolina Panthers. Someone who I spoke about 20, 30 minutes ago about a player that can elevate his level of play. DJ Wanham missed the first half of the season last year, the first 9 games, coming back from both a quad injury, also dealt with a blood clot issue as well. Blood clot's just you can't do anything about that. It's not like, all right, I got an ankle injury, let me rehab it. It's just it's a health thing where you just kind of have to sit. We saw that with the Carolina Hurricanes last season.
Freddie Anderson.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that last year. You kind of just have to sit and wait. Not really a whole lot you can do about it in terms of like a rehab standpoint. It's just what it is. It's a medical condition that you just can't anticipate and plan for. Hopefully DJ Wanham can elevate his play this year because they need to have somebody outside of asking 2 rookies to go be that. Now, again, that could also come from the interior. Tershawn Wharton coming over from the Kansas City Chiefs. Probably best fit for pass rush situations as an interior defensive lineman. Derek Brown you can use in all situations. How can other guys be deployed in order to best be used? It's a big-time question going forward. As I mentioned, players elevating their play for the Carolina Panthers. What about going into the offseason for the Carolina Hurricanes? Who are 2 players that Canes fans and the Canes organization should expect to raise their level of play? You can always get better by signing other players and making trades, but also you have to anticipate that your guys also get better and elevate their play too. I'm going to give you 2 players for the Carolina Hurricanes that will make the team better that are already there. Next.
From the heels,
Touchdown, Carolina!
to the Canes,
She scores!
he covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
It's 3 consecutive Eastern Conference championships for the Florida Panthers.
Hockey tonight. Florida, Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 1.
McDavid scores!
Puck drop at 8.
Nico Mikkola gets the cash and Florida's off and running.
On your audio home for the Stanley Cup Final. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Hearing loss affects about 48 million adults, including 50% of people 75 years or older. Consistent exposure to loud sounds and exposure to a single loud sound can contribute to hearing loss, which if left untreated may increase the risk of health conditions such as dementia. It's important to avoid noisy places, limit the use of earbuds, and wear earplugs if exposure to loud sounds is unavoidable. Eat a healthy diet to provide your ears with nutrients. Get tested and use hearing aids if needed. This has been a message from United Healthcare Hearing, Wish of a Lifetime from AARP, and this station. Learn more at wishofaLifetime.org.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. Under the lights on day 11 at the French Open, Novak Djokovic is playing in his record 19th French Open quarterfinal as he takes on last year's runner-up Alexander Zverev. Yes, Djokovic is the 6th seed, but to Zverev, he's still Djokovic.
The guy won 24 Grand Slams. He's never going to be a black horse. He definitely knows how to play tennis. He definitely knows what it means to be on the big stage and to play big matches. There's no doubt about that.
Zverev looking to advance to his 5th straight Roland Garros semi. Earlier, world number 1 Jannik Sinner dominated unseeded Russian Alexander Bublik in their quarterfinal match in straight sets. Second-seeded Coco Gauff beat fellow American Madison Keys in 3 sets and moves on to play unseeded Frenchwoman Lois Boisson, who upset 6-seeded Mira Andreeva in straight sets. With this tennis update, I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
So NHL free agency is less than a month away. The NHL draft is in 3 weeks, which draft leads right up into free agency. Now, NHL draft, I mean, unless you're like a top pick, I mean like top 10, you're probably not going to be playing in the NHL right away. There's guys who are top picks that might go to college for a year or go back to junior for a year, whatever it might be. It just takes a little bit. So generally free agency and the free agent market trades are generally where in the offseason where you're going to improve your team the most. It's extremely difficult to ask, again, at any sport, to ask a rookie to come in and just be a top dude right away. I mean, we saw Macklin Celebrini for the San Jose Sharks put up gaudy numbers this past year.
He's going to be so good for them next season.
He's
already
awesome
great for
already.
them. Yeah.
He's awesome already. But that team stunk because you need to have, again, a quality team around. But generally, if you're picking that high, it's because you're not that good of a team. Or you had someone else's pick, which in that case, good on you. So Carolina doesn't have a whole lot of roster spots that they need to fill, but they do need to make a couple of major moves, in my opinion. Finding a center that could be another scoring center not named Sebastian Aho. Like, they haven't had a scoring center not named Sebastian Aho since Vincent Trocheck was here. That's been a few years. It's been a few years. So who that's currently on this team that can elevate their play, that's going to get Carolina, the Hurricanes, to where they want to be? Just, again, natural progression from your players. I think the obvious one, Victoria, it's Andrei Svechnikov.
For sure.
I think that's the obvious one. By all accounts, speaking pretty objectively here, it was a disappointing regular season for Andrei.
Mm-hmm.
It was. The offensive production wasn't there. I mean, if you actually look at, the NHL itself has a website called NHL Edge, where they track players' speed on the ice. They track different areas on the ice where players get scoring chances and actually find the back of the net. These different extra metrics. The speed bursts for Andrei Svechnikov were slower than what they were a couple years ago. And this is Andrei Svechnikov, who's 25 years old. Now, granted, he's had a few lower body injuries that he's dealt with, like the ACL tear that he had a couple years ago, some other compounding things over the years, which is not a good sign overall. Hopefully, he can regain that a little bit. Because there's a couple times last year, like, you know what? Like, I think you would have got a half step on this person, but you didn't. I think that obviously hurt his production. Now, we saw what he did in the first 2 rounds of the postseason, which was just flat out phenomenal. Flat out awesome in those first 2 rounds. We even heard Rob Brindamore say, yeah, we've been waiting for that guy all season. We've been waiting for that guy all year. Now, can he be that on a consistent basis? That is the big question. We've seen him hit 30 goals before. It's not that unnew, but we've only seen him hit that one time. That, again, is the Andrei Svechnikov we saw a few years ago get, if I remember correctly, it was 30 goals, 39 assists, 30 and 30 player. That's the Andrei we expected to see on a consistent basis. Yeah, it's 2021, 2022 season. He had 30 goals, 39 assists, 69 points. It's a nice season in 78 games. But then you actually go to the postseason, that exact same year, 4 goals, 1 assist in 14 games. It was a -1.
Not good.
No, it's not. This year in the postseason, 15 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. I'll take that, Andrei.
Sure.
I'll take the way he played overall. Now, would you like to see it in the 3rd round as well? Yes, of course. But that's the Andrei Svechnikov we've expected to see. This past year, 72 games, 20 goals, 28 assists, 48 points. His points per game, Victoria, hasn't been this low since his rookie season.
See.
His points per game have not been this low since his rookie year.
He doesn't need to be regressing.
No, that's the thing. Now, his rookie season, he played all 82 games, scored 20 goals, all of them at even strength, by the way. 20 goals, all at even strength, and 17 assists. So 20, 17, again, no power play goals. So 20 goals at even strength. You're like, man, wait till he actually starts scoring on the power play.
Right.
Like if he gets 6, 7, 8 of those. Now, this past year, he had 20 goals and 28 assists in 72 games. Was a -8. 10 of his goals this season, Victoria, came on the power play.
Yeah.
10 came on the power play. 18 of his 48 points came on the power play. You need more at 5-on-5 from him. And not just empty net goals either. He needs to be a factor because we saw Sebastian Aho's level of play when he had a true goal scorer and a guy that can put up points in Jake Gensel when he was here a couple years ago. In 17 games in the regular season, Jake Gensel with the Carolina Hurricanes had 8 goals and 17 assists, 25 points in 17 games.
Right.
And then in the postseason in 11 games, you have 4 goals, 5 assists. That's the type of player we saw him playing with Aho that Aho needs as well. Because if he has that level of production, guess what? Aho's numbers go up too. People want to point to Aho's stats. We're like, well, Aho also needs guys around him that can score. He needs that. So first one's Andrei. The second one, I think a lot of people are excited by this guy, as they should be. It's Logan Stankoven.
Oh, big time.
The way that guy plays in terms of his tenacity after the puck, the way he's not afraid to go into corners, the way he's actually able to hold on to pucks despite his lack of size, the way he's able to hold on to pucks and still get to high danger scoring areas, it's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
For a guy that's a rookie.
And a little guy. He's like Jarvis with the little dog but big personality.
Yeah.
Now we got a whole litter of them.
As we do. He's smaller than Jarvis. And Jordan Martinook said he's like a dog on a bone.
There you go.
That was the analogy that he actually used. So very fitting. But I think Logan Stankoven, again, this is where the organization has to make sure that they get a center that he can play with. Because if you have Logan Stankoven, I think opposite of Taylor Hall, because Taylor Hall has talked about how those two think the game very similarly, which is a good thing. If they can have a center with him, I don't see a reason why going into next season that you don't see a 20-plus goal, 50-plus point season from Logan Stankoven.
Yeah. I mean, Rod's even said he is Canes hockey. He's already there.
100%.
So, I mean, the hard part or difficult part to find, he's already got it.
Yeah.
He's down pat.
You want to talk about a player that you just watch him play, you go like, yeah, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
That fits. And you saw it right from the jump.
Yep.
And by all accounts, when the trade was going down with Mikko Rantanen going to Dallas back at the trade deadline, when they found out that Stankoven was a player that was available, they're like, some people were like, yes.
That one.
That guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want that one.
Yep.
Otherwise, this deal ain't happening. We'll just ride it out the rest of the year. No, we want that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the deal. And I remember I've talked with Stankoven one-on-one a few times and just kind of asking about how the style of play and everything fits. He said everything that this team, this organization does on the ice, their system, is exactly how I play. It's like how I want to play.
It's perfect.
It's like it's a seamless fit. And we saw in the postseason, he scored 5 goals this postseason. The last 3 that he scored opened the scoring for Carolina in those 3 games. So if you look at game number 1 of the Washington Capitals series in round 2, he scored the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes. It was in the 3rd period, also tied the game as well. If you go back to game number 3 against the Florida Panthers, he scored a power play goal in the 2nd period that tied things 1-1. And then you go to game 4 against the Florida Panthers. He has that snipe against Sergei Bobrovsky that goes top corner, opened the scoring for the Canes again, and gave him the lead. So he scored in a couple series 3 goals that was the first goal for the Canes and either tied or gave the Canes a lead. On top of that game 1 against the New Jersey Devils where he stings a couple of pipes and goes in for a pair of goals in that big-time win to open that series against the Devils.
Yeah.
So we've seen this guy, like, playoffs aren't too big for him. I remember asking him this on Friday last week. I asked him, what is it about the playoffs and these big moments where the moment doesn't seem too big for you? And he said, I've been fortunate, to paraphrase here, he said that he was fortunate enough to play when he was in the Western Hockey League, play for Memorial Cups, playing in the junior playoffs, like these big high-profile games, played in the World Junior Championships, got to play a little bit last year at the end of the regular season for the Dallas Stars and play into the conference finals in the Western Conference. So he's had this experience before. Now, granted, obviously it's not the NHL, with the exception of what he did with the Dallas Stars last year, but he's been in these high-profile games before where there was something major at stake.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had that level of experience. If you actually just go back and look at his numbers, the dude produces in these games.
He does. Which
is awesome. Now, you might not have an point-per-game guy in the regular season. I mean, unless you're going to do it, Logan Stankoven.
Sure.
I ain't going to tell you not to.
No, go for it.
But it's what you do in April, May, and June that you really show your value. Now, we saw, again, Andrei Svechnikov, the first guy that I mentioned, 8 goals this postseason. And we're all like, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Now, we've seen Andrei be good in the regular season. Can he get back to that? He has to. You're a 2nd overall pick for a reason. Continue to grow and build your game. And Logan Stankoven, just keep doing your thing, man.
I know.
Just keep doing your thing.
And I just read this from his exit interview, which I love. Ryan Hinkle from, where is he? The Hockey News.
Yep.
He had posted his comment where he said, I think I've been able to create a really good bond with everyone here. I love the city and just kind of the vibes around it. Looking forward to hopefully spending a lot more time here. That is important, too.
I asked him this as well because I talked to him one-on-one right after that exit interview, and I asked him, hey, who on the team really took you under their wing? Because I think he said it was maybe Seth Jarvis that he'd been on the ice and did some training with, like kind of in passing in the past. But he basically came in not knowing anybody. You talk about he's in his first full year in the NHL, gets traded, goes to a different city, ironically against the team that he made his NHL debut against. But I asked him who took you under his wing. He's like, it was Jarvis, Kotkaniemi were like the two of the guys that really took him under his wing and made him feel included. You know, they actually played at Old Chatham Golf Course. You know, like those two guys along with Freddie, like just, you know, when they're resting, getting ready for the playoffs, like, you know, played a round of golf and stuff out there.
Oh, fun.
He felt included, and it felt like he had been with the team all season, which is a really great thing. And he said he loved the city, really got an opportunity to see what the city was like and everything that everything that Raleigh had to offer and the surrounding area had to offer. And he's like, I love it here. This is a great place. You know, he loves the organization, fits in well with the team, fits in what the team wants to do on the ice. It's a seamless fit. I can only anticipate his growth only is going to make the middle of that lineup stronger.
Yeah.
And if you can have 3 lines that really can score on a consistent basis or a threat to score on a consistent basis, then you really look like the Florida Panthers, who are playing tonight, by the way.
They are.
It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. How can the Carolina Hurricanes improve that roster tangibly? We'll hear from the person that pulls the strings, Eric Tulsky, Hurricanes general manager. We'll hear that conversation next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Joining us now here on the Adam Gold Show, it is the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, Eric Tulsky, joining us. Eric, thanks so much for your time. Really do appreciate this. I know a lot of players are obviously into the offseason. They're trying to look to maybe take a vacation, take a little break, rest and relax a little bit. But this time for you, this is where things actually ramp up for you. How busy have things been already for you, even before the offseason started?
Yeah, this is the busiest time of year for me for sure. We've got drafts coming up and free agency and signing our own players to extensions. It's all busy right now. I'll get to sleep in August maybe, but until then, a lot to do.
Yeah, there's definitely is a lot to do, and you actually have some free agents of your own possibly coming up as well. How have negotiations been, and when do those conversations actually start taking place with players that you know are going to be unrestricted free agents? Is it something that you wait until after the season? Do those take place at any point during the year? How does that process work for you?
Yeah, so for our own players, we're talking now to players who will be free agents next summer. We want to get ahead of it whenever we can. Sometimes it makes sense for both sides to play it out and see where things go. And when that happens, we continue to check in throughout the year, see if there's anything to be done. Sometimes it gets done during the year. We saw some of them happen actually as we were getting into the start of the playoffs. And then when games finish, we circle back again and start trying to hammer things out before we hit the July 1st deadline.
Eric Tulsky, general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. I asked you this yesterday during your exit interview with you and Rob Brindamore about finding not just the right players, but the right people that fit into an organization. We all can look at counting stats. We all can look at numbers about what a player can bring on the ice. But what is the process for you in terms of figuring out who the person is and making sure that they are a person that fits well into the locker room, has the mentality that you want that fits into the locker room?
Yeah, so a lot of that comes down to contacts. We're talking to players who have played for us, who know the players because they played with them before. We're talking to coaches who have coached the player before or who are friends with people who have coached the player before. We're talking to, scouts who may have worked with the person when they were with their junior team. Anyone who knows the player, we're trying to talk to them and get their sense of what the player is like, not as a player, but as a person. And then we're working with our scouts and coaches to evaluate what they're like as a player. And we want to make sure both of those things fit.
How do you balance as well when you're looking at talent, when you're taking a look at a player that puts up great numbers in the regular season, but maybe the postseason numbers might not be there, or there's also the inverse of that. I know we talked about before you joined the show about game 1 tonight of the Stanley Cup final with the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, and I look at a player like Sam Bennett, who if you look at his regular season numbers, has only hit 50 points once in his career. But you look at what he does in the postseason, he puts up numbers in April, May, and June. How do you balance when it comes to approaching players, not just finding players who can put up numbers in the regular season, but players that might have the mentality for the playoffs that I'm going to put my stick on the ice, get to the blue paint on the offensive end. I know I'm going to get cross-checked and elbowed, but I'm going to go to those areas no matter what. I'm going to pay that price to try and get things done. How do you balance out the regular season production, but also that mentality that's going to pay off in May?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, our team plays a playoff style all year long. You know, we play an aggressive, heavy game, and we expect people to grind along the walls and win those battles and compete and apply pressure. And so if someone's going to be a fit for our team, they're going to be a fit regular season and postseason just because of the way we play. You know, so we're looking for people who are comfortable in that kind of high-pressure game and, you know, giving their full intensity and going against someone who's giving their full intensity. And when we find that, we think that'll fit year-round for us.
A player that really has fit, by the way, it's Eric Tulsky, Carolina Hurricanes general manager, joining us. A player who really fits that mentality and it really showed during the playoffs is Logan Stankoven, a player that you got at the trade deadline from the Dallas Stars. He's going into the final year of his entry-level contract. Have you had conversations with him and his agent about an extension, or are you waiting till restricted free agency to see if you're going to do a bridge deal? Where's the process with a player like him?
Yeah, so we have just started to have a conversation. You know, he's not even eligible to sign an extension until July 1st. So we have a little bit of time, you know, where right now we're feeling each other out and trying to get a read on whether this is something that we're likely to get traction on this summer. But yes, we've started to have that conversation, and we'll continue working on it throughout the summer and hopefully get something done this year. And if not, it'll get done next year.
Did he perform up to expectations or even exceed them?
Yeah, I mean, he was great for us, right? I don't know what more you could ask of him. You know, he's a rookie who's coming into a new team, and from day one just stepped in and fit and did everything we asked and did it well.
You have a couple other rookies that are going to be going into their final year of their entry-level contracts. Alexander Nikishin being one of them. It's amazing that, you know, he's considered a rookie, even though with all the years of professional experience with the KHL, but also Jackson Blake as well going into a final year of an entry-level contract. Are you looking to possibly have extensions with these guys come July 1 when they're eligible to sign, or are you going to wait and see how everything goes with free agency before you decide to move, because you do have that cost control with those guys over the next few years?
Yep. So, I mean, realistically, would be happy to have them all done on July 1st and not have to think twice about it. Right now, you know, I think when they're a year away from their contract expiring, there isn't quite the time pressure to get it done on July 1st. And so the agents are busy with people whose contracts are expiring. And, you know, so are we, frankly. And so I think right now the conversations sort of start, but the focus will really shift to them a week or two or three into July when there starts to be a little more bandwidth to really dig into what we can do with these guys.
Eric, I'm curious how much the conversation between you and Rod takes place when it comes to re-signing players or trying to find players that fit the personality of the team. How often are you guys having conversations about that in the off season, or even, you know, approaching possibly the trade deadline? How much dialogue is going on back and forth between not just you, but also Darren York with Tom Dundon, Rob Brindamore? How much dialogue is taking place with you all?
Yeah, I mean, we all talk all the time. It's, you know, I live on the phone basically. So, you know, we want to get the opinions of everyone and make sure we know where everyone stands and get as much information as we can before we make any decision. And that includes getting everybody involved. It involves making sure we understand not just what their opinion is, but why they have that opinion and what it's based on and how strongly they feel about it. And, really making sure we understand how everything fits together and how it'll work for us.
Eric Tulsky, Carolina Hurricanes general manager, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. If you look at Florida, the team that's gotten to the Stanley Cup final 3 straight years, if you look down the middle of the ice, what they're able to do with Alexander Barkov, Sam Bennett, Anton Lundell, the depth that they have down the middle of the ice. And Rob Brindamore spoke with Adam Gold earlier this week about needing more from that position as a whole. Obviously, you have Sebastian Aho. We all know what he can do. We also know what Jordan Stahl can do as well. How much of an emphasis are you putting on building the strength down the middle of the ice to match what the standard is right now, which is Florida?
Yeah, I mean, we want to get better across the board. And center is a very important position. D is a very important position. You know, our wingers are a strength for our team. I think anywhere where we find opportunity to improve, we're going to take it. Center is obviously a focus around the league right now, and something that if we see opportunities there, we will definitely jump on them. But, you know, we do not want to pigeonhole ourselves as being narrowly focused on one thing and missing other opportunities. We want to take every opportunity we can.
Final thing for you, Eric. Going into this offseason, we know everything that you have at your disposal in terms of cap space, draft capital, young prospects. If you want to make moves, everything is there. But how important is it for you all in the organization to be in a position where, look, we're one of the Final Four teams playing. You have a bunch of guys still under contract for next year, and you have all this cap space, but you still have room to grow in the future. How important is it to have that balance, but also that ability to make these moves in any way, shape, or form where you don't have to be 100% all in and the future is just completely mortgaged away, but you can still win now, but also still maybe win 2, 3, 4 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to build a team that can compete year after year. You know, we don't want to just be a one-and-done team and put all our eggs in one basket. That being said, you know, we've built a team that I think is set up to be very good for a long time. At this point, the focus is we want to continue doing it sustainably, but we want to do whatever we need to do to get farther than we have so far. And that, you know, that means starting to make some pushes to really bring in players who can get us ahead of where, you know, we've put ourselves in a great spot and we want to keep trying to get ahead.
That's Canes General Manager Eric Tulsky. One thing I want to tell you before I let you go, Eric, I just want to say I thought you did a pretty phenomenal job this year with putting together this roster that got to a Final Four with everything you had to do with players leaving with free agency last year. I know you couldn't afford to keep everybody. It's just the business of what it is, but you still put together a roster that got to a conference final. So congrats to you and good luck this offseason. Really do appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. That's kind of you. I had a good time. Have fun.
So yeah, big thanks to General Manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, Eric Tulsky. And I meant what I said there at the end because, I mean, Rob Brindamore was asked about it after Game 5 of the series against the Florida Panthers, where he was asked about, hey, you had a lot of guys leave. You know, Jake Gensel goes, Brett Pesce goes, Brady Shea goes, Stefan Nason goes. A lot of really good players leave. And now, I mean, Teuvo Teravainen, all those guys pretty much got, with the exception of Teravainen got paid the same from Chicago, but all those guys got pay bumps, and significant ones too, for the most part. Carolina couldn't afford to keep those guys. Just simply put, there's a lot of guys that left. Nature of the business, right? So, yeah, major question that Rob Brindamore had going in is there's a lot of good players leaving, a lot of good talent that's gone. I don't know what to expect going in. Those are great players.
Yeah.
Are we going to make the playoffs?
It's a valid concern.
100%. And I think a lot of people thought the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rod talked about, hey, you know what? They did make some signings. They made some moves. Now, Jarvis gets the contract extension. He gets that massive pay bump. They bring in Sean Walker. They bring in Shane Gostisbehere to fill in for Brett Pesce and Brady Shea. And then, you bring up a rookie like Jackson Blake. Again, unknown, but you bring that guy in. You bring in an Eric Robinson. And then you have the wheeling and dealing of the or during the season with Natchez and Jack Drury going and the whole Rantanen and then Stankoven comes. We get Taylor Hall. It's a lot of big-time moves there by Eric Tulsky to find the guys that fit the team well.
And it was bold his first year, too.
Yeah.
So he wasn't afraid. I like that he wasn't afraid to make big moves.
I know, and that's okay. I love the fact that he's aggressive. He's don't let his demeanor fool you. The dude wants to win and ain't afraid to go for it. And I respect that. Not every big signing, not every big thing, and it's not all of them work. Just history shows that. They're not always going to work. But you can't be afraid. You can't let fear hold you back from trying to do something. So props to him for putting together that roster this season and still being set up for future success. The fact that you have so many guys back. I mean, the only unrestricted free agents you have this offseason are Eric Robinson, you have Dmitry Orlov, Tyson Jost, Brent Burns. I think I'm missing another one over here as well. Drawing a blank on another one. Jack Roslovic. Like, those are your unrestricted free agents. That's it. And you got young guys in the pipeline still coming. You have all this extra draft capital that you've acquired, and you have all this cap space, and you already have a team for the core of it that went to a Eastern Conference final coming back. You can't complain about that if you're an organization. You just simply can't. Like, in all seriousness, this team is set up to not only win this upcoming year, but sustain success for a long time, which is the only thing that you can really ask for if you're a franchise. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox in again for Adam Gold this afternoon. Real quick, as we close things out here. I mentioned this a little bit earlier today. Carolina Panthers have OTAs coming up. Talk about rookies that contributed this past season for the Canes. Jackson Blake, Logan Stankoven, guys that are still young and developing. A guy who's going to be a rookie next season, and Alexander Nikishin coming up. What about that 8th overall pick, Teteroa McMillan? How are things looking for him at OTAs and at practice? Dave Canales, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers yesterday, talked about T-Mac, as they like to call him, learning the offense.
He's really taken to the coaching. First and foremost, the goal is to get him comfortable with the system, the different types of plays, different formations. We're starting to make it more challenging in terms of moving him around in different spots. He's handling it great. That gives him his best opportunity to play fast. I can tell when a guy's not comfortable because they look a little methodical out there, and so to see him be able to play fast, he looks pretty comfortable, but I know he'll probably be the first one to come up here and say, I don't feel like I have everything totally down pat, and that's the goal, is to get him to where he's completely comfortable.
You hope that happens quickly because you anticipate that Teteroa McMillan is going to be your number one guy. You don't take a guy 8th overall for him to be like, yeah, he could be our 4th receiver to start things off. No, you expect him to be like your 1 or 2 from the get-go. What's impressed Dave Canales so far about Teteroa McMillan?
I think it's just his consistent ability to win at the top of the route. He uses his hands well. He's got great body control. For having that kind of frame and size, a lot of times guys do struggle, with people in their space. And for a 6'4" guy to be able to control his body, and then he comes back to the ball. So he's such a friendly target because he attacks it. Whenever it's thrown to him, you'll see him come back towards the ball versus just receiving it, if you will. So those are some of the things that I'm excited about, just continuing to see from him.
There are wide receiver groups like an NBA backcourt. In all honesty,
right?
I think UNC basketball would have loved that size as their backcourt this past year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, McMillan's 6'4", Legette's 6'1". I mean, Coker, I think at combine was 6'1", but he feels like he's taller and longer than that. I feel like he's more like a 6'2", having stood next to him. But I mean, that's great size from your receiving core. From three young guys, and Thielen's not the smallest guy either. He's 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Not the smallest guy. Renfro's a smaller dude. Jimmy Horn Jr. is a smaller guy. But what is a realistic expectation this upcoming year in terms of production, in terms of numbers, the stats, the counting stats, the receptions, the yards, the touchdowns, Victoria? Teteroa McMillan was asked if he has any personal goals or numbers he wants to hit this year.
Win games. That's all I care about right now. I want to see this team succeed, this offense succeed. And, when one person wins, we all win. So I'm looking forward to it.
Bingo, winning games. I like that.
Yeah.
That's fine by me.
I like it too because it's a main goal, but it's not a number, like a hard set number that he could be disappointed by. Because sometimes you set yourself up for disappointment, like if you throw that out there.
True, but also sometimes you might on the other side of that is like,
True.
well, I said I was going to do this and I
Right.
did it. What about you?
Win games, win 2, and that's it. No.
Win games. That's the
No.
thing that matters the most. If you go back the previous 4 drafts, so not counting obviously 2025. So we're talking the 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024 drafts. There were 8 wide receivers selected in the top 10 in those 4 drafts. 8. Jamar Chase, 5th overall to the Bengals in 21. Jalen Waddle to the Dolphins in 2021. Devontae Smith, 10th overall to the Eagles in 2021. In 2022, you had Drake London to the Falcons and Garrett Wilson to the Jets. And then in 2023, no one drafted in the top 10 that were wide receivers. But last year in 2024, you had Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Roma Dunze. If you take just their rookie year stats, Victoria, just their rookie season, receptions, yards, touchdowns, they averaged, those 8 guys, 78.6 catches, 1,022 yards, and 6.25 touchdowns. That's what they averaged as a rookie. Now, granted, you have the extreme of, Jamar Chase and his 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns, and you have the Roma Dunze 734 yards and 3 touchdowns. But you had 4 guys go over 80 catches. You also had 4 guys go over 1,000 yards. And you also have 4 guys go 6+ touchdowns. I think if Teteroa McMillan, Victoria, hits 78 catches for 1,022 yards and 6 touchdowns, I'll take it today.
I'll take it all day.
I'll take it today,
I'm good
and I'll
with
take
that.
it every other Sunday as
Yep.
well. Or every other year. 100% I'll take that right from the start.
Yep.
It's been the Adam Gold Show. Make sure you check out the Best on the Adam Gold Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Also, check it out on YouTube as well. That's Victoria Von Necker producing. Dennis Cox. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Until next time, we bid you adieu. Goodbye and good night.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and it starts tonight, the Stanley Cup Finals. It's a rematch. Edmonton and Florida last year. Florida opened up a 3-0 series lead, hung on, 1 in 7. Edmonton is actually favored in the series, and they are favored tonight. But my favorite wager